Yeah. You haven't had the big burn.
Team Columbia from Central Catholic High School, number 6, Crew Newman. For Team Willamette and Mountain View High School, number 7, Ben Yunt. For Team Columbia, representing North Salem High School, TC Manomaluyuna. For Team Willamette and Sayusala High School, number 8, Braden Thornton. For Team Columbia and Lake Oswego High School, number 8, Gabe Alvera. For Team Willamette and David Douglas High School, number 9, Caleb Clardy. For Team Columbia, representing Roosevelt High School, number 9, Lindell Betts. For Team Willamette and Sherwood High School, number 10, Oliver Fisher. For Team Columbia and Lebanon High School, number 10, Hayden George. For Team Willamette, representing Grant High School, number 11, Jay Sean Peet. For Team Columbia, representing Tualatin High, number 11, Richie Anderson. For Team Willamette and Tualatin High School, number 12, Kellen Hale. For Team Columbia and McMinnville High, number 13, Austin Rack. For Team Willamette, representing Grant High School, number 13, Marshoon Waters. For Team Columbia and West Salem High School, number 14, Zach Dotson Green. For Team Willamette and Sherwood High, number 14, Jalen Moore. For Team Columbia, from Newburgh High School, number 15, Sam Murphy. For Team Willamette and Beaverton High School, number 15, Kyron Albright. For Team Columbia and Central Catholic High School, number 17, Timmy Mitchell. For Team Willamette and Liberty High School, number 16, Hyro Diamond. For Team Columbia and Coquille High School, number 21, Gunnar Yates. For Team Willamette and Sherwood High, number 17, Cody Hall. For Team Columbia, from Jesuit High School, number 22, Noah Staley. For Team Willamette and Churchill High, number 18, Pete Pennington. For Team Columbia and West Albany High School, number 23, DeMarcus Houston. For Team Willamette and Silverton High School, number 19, Vanden Bessler. For Team Columbia and Sunset High, number 24, Jason Cox. For Team Willamette and Grant High School, number 20, Max Von Arks. For Team Columbia and Banks High School, number 32, Charlie White. For Team Willamette and Clackamas High School, number 21, A.J. Perez. Team Columbia and Astoria High, number 33, Luke Cummings. For Team Willamette and Summit High School, number 22, Ryan Powell. For Team Columbia and Lake Ridge High, number 34, Zach Weibel. For Team Willamette and Jefferson High School, number 23, Sanborn Melson. For Team Columbia and Central Catholic High School, number 43, Gibson Coyle. For Team Willamette and Churchill High, number 24, Braden Rohde. For Team Columbia and Tillamook High School, number 52, Aiden Johnson. For Team Willamette and Sherwood High, number 25, Nolan Scott. For Team Columbia, from Franklin High School, number 55, Nipam Jamba. For Team Willamette and Newburgh High, number 30, Bryce Papier. For Team Columbia and Marist High, number 58, Cale Pasley. For Team Willamette and Summit High, number 36, Jack Clemens. For Team Columbia and Central Catholic High School, number 63, Bo Cress-Allen. For Team Willamette and Summit High, number 41, Soren McKee. For Team Columbia and Jesuit High School, number 64, Silas Wallace. For Team Willamette and Summit High, Newburgh High, number 44, Hudson Davis. For Team Columbia, Jesuit High School, number 65, Royce Cleland. For Team Willamette and Silverton High School, number 54, Sam Willis. For Team Columbia and Jesuit High School, number 66, Sean Corey. For Team Willamette and Marist High School, number 56, Tanner Relling. For Team Columbia and Newburgh High, number 69, Charlie Evans. For Team Willamette and Summit High School, number 57, Spencer Elliott. For Team Columbia and Mazama High School, number 71, Nathan Tramp. For Team Willamette and Liberty High School, number 62, Ryan Berger. For Team Columbia and Klamath Union High School, number 72, Hayden Smith. For Team Willamette and Estacada High School, number 69, Cody White. For Team Columbia and Central Catholic High, number 75, Maddox Carpenter. For Team Willamette and Mountainside High School, number 70, Kevin Cassidy. For Team Columbia and Marist High, number 76, Sam Keene. For Team Willamette and Rex Putnam High School, number 71, Jace Evelyn. For Team Columbia and Thurston High School, number 88, Grayson Stark. From Team Willamette and Lake Oswego High School, number 72, Austin Lako. From Team Columbia and Hidden Valley High School, number 98, Spencer Fisk. From Team Willamette and West Lynn High School, number 75, Stephen Del Judas. And for Team Columbia, from Union High School of Washington, number 99, Joe Merlino. Let's meet the coaches for each squad. First for Team Columbia, the head coach from Central Catholic High is Steve Pine. The assistant, John Guthrie of Central Catholic, Josh Line of Sheldon, Ken Potter of Jesuit, Justin Stark from Thurston, Terry Summerfield of Lake Ridge, and Tony Graziani from Summit. Now the coaching staff for Team Willamette. The head coach is Dan Lever of Tualatin. He is assisted by John Beck of Grant, Kevin Haston from Sherwood, Corbin Hyatt from Summit, Eric Moen, Tualatin, and Anthony Newman of Westland. Let's meet tonight's officials. The referee is Nick Larson. The umpire is Aaron Grimes. The head linesman, Nathan Hofer. The line judge is Adam Howell. The side judge, Kyle Whitty. The field judge is Lee Noland. And the back judge is Don Dana. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to midfield, where we're joined today with players and coaches from both teams by the Bafaro family. They are here representing their son, brother, grandson, and friend, Braden Bafaro, who played in this game in 2016. Braden very recently passed away at the age of 24, so the game is honoring him by retiring Braden's number 15 jersey that he wore in this game. From here on out, no other player will wear number 15 in this game. Big hand, the Bafaro family. And from the Bafaro family, they'd like to say that being a part of the Les Schwab Bowl was a meaningful experience for Braden. There was nothing like running out on the field with the best players and teammates in the state. Braden felt that being a small part of the Les Schwab Bowl was an opportunity. The same opportunity to play in a game his grandfather played in many years earlier in the first Shrine Game. This event gave him the opportunity to serve others, an opportunity to experience something that he considered a privilege and be a part of something bigger than himself. But above all, an opportunity to meet other players that would develop into lifelong friendships. Thank you, Braden, for your contribution to this long-time Oregon tradition. Everybody, please rise to your feet and join the Bafaro family as we announce his name one last time. from Liberty High School, number 15, Braden Bafaro. Now, fans, please welcome to midfield, where we are joined by Les Schwab Tires representative Jason Gale. Les Schwab has graciously supported the game as the title sponsor and continues their support as it brings communities together from all of Oregon and Southwest Washington. He would like to say a few words before we kick off.
First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you all for coming to take part in this awesome event. This right here should tell you that this is way more than a football game. This is community, and every one of you, players, cheerleaders, coaches, fans, parents, you're all making a difference in your lives and in the community. And getting the opportunity to talk just a few minutes with this family and learning a little bit about Braden if any of you could live half your life that this young man led, you'll be doing something. I'll tell you that. There's a lot of blood, sweat, hard work, dedication, sacrifice that you've all made to be here today. And I'm not just talking about the parents that made sure you all made it to practice. I know you all worked hard to get here. So let's have a great game and think about number 15 tonight, all right? Thank you.
Well said, Jason. Jason Gale from Les Schwab Tires. Fans also joining us tonight for the coin toss is a very special guest. Let's give a warm welcome to honorary captain of the Les Schwab Bowl, presented by Express Employment Professionals, wide receiver from the New England Patriots, Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick played in this game in 2014, representing Milwaukee High School, catching 7 passes and a touchdown in a victory for the North Squad. Welcome back home, KB. Also joining this group at midfield is referee Nick Larson and captains from Team Columbia, Crew Newman of Central Catholic High School, Maddox Carpenter of Central Catholic High, Noah Staley of Jesuit High, and Austin Rapp of McMinnville High School. Captains for Team Willamette, Malik Ross of Tualatin High School, Austin Lakem of Lake Oswego High School, Kyron Albright of Beaverton High, and Braden Rohde of Churchill High School.
Captain, go ahead and introduce yourselves. Let me shake hands. All right, Team Willamette, you guys are the visitors. May I have your call? Tails the call, Mr. Bourne. And it is a tail. You guys want to toss? What do you guys want to do? Which way do you guys want to kick it? Team Willamette will receive down here.
Let's hear it for Les Schwab Tire Centers, Express Employment Professionals, Nike, and all our other partners you see here for their continued support of high school athletics and making today's game possible. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please stand and honor the United States of America with the singing of our national anthem. Performing the anthem this evening is the beautiful and talented Mo Bentley. Mo has written and produced multiple original songs that can be found on platforms such as Apple Music, Spotify, and Instagram at mo.bentley. Currently, she is attending the Los Angeles College of Music in Pasadena on a scholarship. Mo Bentley, as you can see in the south end zone.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mo Bentley. Kicking off for Team Columbia, number 98, Spencer Fisk. Deep for Willamette is number 25, Nolan Scott. And number 6, Malik Ross.
Fisk, 5'10", 200-pound senior from Hidden Valley. And gets a sidewinder that's going to go out of bounds at the 8-yard line. And so Team Willamette will move that up the field where they will start on offense. The guards, Stephen Del Judas II from West Lynn, a sophomore, 6'4", 250 pounds. Ryan Berger, a 6'5", 285-pound junior from Liberty. Tanner Relling, a 6'5", 295-pound senior from Marist, will be at one tackle. And Kevin Cassidy, 6'6", 270-pound junior from Mountainside, an all-metro offensive lineman, Those are the starters for the Willamette offense. They will start first down and 10 from their own 35-yard line. Willamette is wearing the white jerseys with the navy blue numbers. They'll be moving from right to left from our vantage point here in this first quarter. 15-minute quarters here at the Les Schwab Bowl. There is a play clock that's visible to everyone. They'll go 3 wide to the right, 1 left, and hand it off. No, it'll be a fake and kept by Gibson, who finds room off the right side out near midfield. Brought down at the 48-yard line, a gain of 13. For the Columbia defense up front, Joe Merlino and Cale Paisley are the defensive interior linemen. And we're going to go quick. This time, zone read goes to Malik Ross, and he gets 1. Merlino in there on the stop, the big 6'3", 280-pound junior. Played the last 2 years at Central Catholic, but he is transferring to Union over in the Greater St. Helens League. Kyle Paisley, 290-pound senior from Marist. Meepam Jampa, 6'3", 220-pound senior from Franklin at one defensive end, and Aiden Johnson out of Tillamook at the other. Second down and 9. Ball at the 49-yard line of Willamette. Out of the shotgun, Gibson, flush to his left. He's going to have to heave it. It'll go out of bounds over everybody. Putting the heat on him that time was Richie Anderson at 6'4", 235, the junior from Tualatin. And so we will see a lot of rotation on that Columbia defensive front line. Charlie White, Chuck White as it is from Banks, will be in there as well at times. Luke McNabb will be out at a cornerback position, 6'3", 200-pound senior from Scappoose. He was the 5A second-team quarterback, and he is coming to Linfield as well, the Northwest Oregon Offensive Player of the Year, but they've got him back there. He's playing safety right now on this 3rd down and 9 play. In motion, and it'll be kept by Gibson, but he couldn't shake the tackler behind him. In there making the stop is number 22. That's Noah Staley, a 6', 220-pound junior from Jesuit. And it'll bring up 3rd down. They'll give him 4 on the play. 3rd down and 5 into Columbia territory at their 47-yard line. It's 4th down. They were just a little slow changing the down marker. And looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down and a long 4. Gibson with Ross on his left, out of the shotgun, looking left, and his receiver fell down. That was intended for number 21, A.J. Perez, and so Willamette will turn it over on downs.
Unique little play there. Malik Ross actually picked up the blitzer on the edge. His teammate, Richie Anderson at Tualatin, which allowed time for that throw. Had the receiver not fallen down, that first down completion, as it would have been largely because Malik Ross blocked Richie Anderson.
And that's one of those plays right there. A.J. Perez on the outside trying to run that little whip route where you go inside and then you work back out to the flat. And that's a hard transition. It's not September or October. They haven't been running routes for that long.
Crew Newman now will start a quarterback out of Central Catholic. Throws one in the flat. It is caught but met immediately. Zach Dodson Green making the catch. But Max Van Ark's right there for a loss. Back to the 45-yard line.
And there he is, the guy that Andrew was talking about in the pregame as a player to watch in this game. Makes his presence felt immediately from that outside linebacker
Loss
position.
of 2 on the completion. Sam Murphy, 6'1", 190-pound senior at Newburgh, one of the starting wideouts, and Keegan Line, 5'9", 160-pound senior from Sheldon, coach's son. Those are the receivers. Gabe Vera out of Lake Oswego is the running back, and he will take the handoff going left. Nothing doing, and he will lose a couple more.
Well, you mentioned Line. You've got Josh Line's son is in this game. We have a Stark in this game.
Yeah, Grayson Stark, the starting tight end.
The son of Josh Stark, the head coach down at Thurston. You got Lucas McNabb, the son of Sean McNabb from Scappoose. It's all in the family here at the Les Schwab Bowl.
Up front on this 3rd down and 15 now from their own 42-yard line. 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right for Newman. Takes the shotgun snap, going to go into the seam. Great catch by Dodson Green for a 1st down to the 41-yard line of Willamette.
That was a seed by Crew Newman. They had one-on-one on the outside, and you could tell he liked that matchup. Looks for him, fires it, and a great job by Dodson Green to go up, catch the ball, and fall forward to get that first down. I think if he doesn't get a couple yards after catch, that's maybe just short. He did a great job there to get that first down.
So 16 yards on the completion into Willamette, and we've got a stoppage here. And we got a flag in the backfield. We have 12 men in formation for...
We're playing football in July, guys.
Yep.
We're playing football in July. It's a little tough. Substitutions are going to be an issue.
So 3.5 minutes in, no score.
There should be like 2 warnings on substitutions in a high school all-star game in July.
Maybe you run a minute off the clock.
So now 1st down and 5 down to the 36 for Columbia. We'll try and get all the starters in. Quick out route is beyond the reach of Keegan Line. And that's just some timing right there.
We need to stop with the whip routes. We were 0 for 2, both teams.
Up front for Columbia, Royce Cleland is the center, 6'3", 280 pounds, a junior out of Jesuit. The guard, Sam Keene, 6'3", 290, a sophomore from Marist. Sean Corey, 6'2", 275-pound junior from Jesuit. The tackle, Silas Wallace, 6'2", 290-pound junior from Jesuit. And Bo Cress Allen, a 6'5", 250-pound junior from Central Catholic. 2nd down and 5, handoff to Olvera, bounces it out to the left, finds some room, and pulls forward for the first down. Got out of the grasp of Sanborn Melson, the 6'1", 185-pound cornerback out of Jefferson. And yes, that name does sound familiar, the younger brother of the great basketball player, Silas Melson.
Gabe Olvera had an interesting assignment in that he took over for Casey Filkins, one of the best backs in state history, one of the best players in Lake Oswego history, and there was only a very small step down from Filkins and Olvera. Olvera is a very good player.
1st and 10, Newman gets sacked, lost it for a moment, and got it back on the stop.
You want to talk about big shoes to fill. Casey Filkins, a true freshman contributor for the Stanford Cardinal, and Olvera comes right in seamless transition.
Filkins was an All-American Bowl selection at running back from the state of Oregon. You do not see that very often. And for Olvera to come in and carry that load, and if people don't remember, Filkins had to play basically quarterback at the end of the year. That's how talented he was. They just figured, let's get the ball in his hands every time. And Olvera really did a nice job without skipping a beat.
11 yards on the sack. 2nd and 21 now for Columbia at their own 40, or at the 40 of Willamette. Olvera on the carry straight up the middle for 5 yards to the 35. It was Braden Rohde out of Churchill who got the sack. A first-team All-Midwestern Conference D lineman. And he's going to head to Shasta Community College, play a little football down south. 3rd down and 15 now for Columbia. 2 wide to the right, 1 split out wide left. Olvera off the right shoulder of Newman, and we've got a whistle before everybody jumped. Did we get a timeout?
Coach Lever over on the sideline. He saw it may be July football, but he saw something he didn't like over there.
So did they get the timeout before the penalty?
Well, you could tell Team Columbia wanted to snap the ball. They had 2 receivers here on the near side with 1 DB down there on 3rd and 15.
We will get a timeout, so we'll take one as well. 9:46 to go here in the opening quarter. Willamette nothing, Columbia nothing. This is the 2022 Les Schwab Bowl presented by Express Employment Professionals on 1080 The Fan. By Columbia to keep this drive going, but they find themselves 3rd and 16 now with the 35. Fake to Olvera. Newman over the middle. Got the tight end. And another first down over the middle. Grayson Stark hauls that one in.
And that's just what Crew Newman did in that state title run. Every time it seemed like Central Catholic was in a spot where they needed a big completion or a big play, he made it happen with his arm, with his legs. Crew Newman just continues to blow me away with how savvy and heady he is and how clutch he is when it comes to that accuracy. Sometimes it's inconsistent, but on 3rd and long, he always throws it right where it needs to be. That was on the money.
Under the corner, under the safety, over the corner. It's a harder throw than Crew Newman made it look right there.
18 yards on the completion. Little miscommunication between Line and Newman. 3 on the play clock, and they're going to have to burn another timeout. And that's always the danger of you only have a week to practice. Some guys are already in summer vacation mode. So some of the finer points here, especially once you get into the red zone. Let's hit the rest of the Willamette defense. Oliver Fisher at an end. Braden Rohde, who got the sack early on, he is the other end. Spencer Elliott, 6'2", 235-pound junior from Summit at nose guard. And Cody White, who you mentioned from Estacada earlier, 6'7", 260-pound junior there. Sanborn Melson out at a corner spot, 6'1", 185-pound junior from Jefferson. Kyron Albright, 6', 180-pound senior from Beaverton, headed to Western Oregon. And then Marshawn Waters is the safety, 6 feet, 160-pound junior from Grant, first-team All-PIL defensive back. Kellen Hale from Tualatin and Hudson Davis from Newburgh are the middle linebackers. Hudson Davis, he was a 6A state wrestling champion. Max Von Arks and Zach Woostig, the outside linebackers, as we get a reverse now. Line takes the pitch. He's come to the near sideline, but not a lot of places to go. Back to the line of scrimmage, so a lot of razzle-dazzle, maybe a half yard.
Max Von Arks, again, just did a nice job staying home, sealing the edge. Follows the ball carrier and makes a tackle for a gain of 1. He's done a really nice job, and that's, again, one of those players that you just go, I can't believe he didn't find a spot, because he was seemingly all-state everything, all-league everything.
So Stark now split out in a wide receiver spot, alone to his right, 3 wide receivers to the left. Olvera off the right shoulder of Newman for 2nd down and 9. Newman takes the snap. He'll tug it, pull it down, tuck it, run. He's to the 5, or inside the 10 to the 7. And he's about the 8. He's a yard short of a first down, so he picks up 8 on the keeper.
There's one guy holding his breath on this series. It's the head coach of Columbia. It's Steve Pine, watching his quarterback throw blocks on the reverse, then take the hit by his safety coming downhill in this all-star game. He's sitting there going, Crew, I'm going to need you in a couple months, buddy.
We already lost Riley Williams. We can't afford to lose you to an injury.
And there, the hard count from Newman on 3rd and 1 gets the offside.
And that's just another one of those things. And I know this is an all-star game, so it's a little easier to get those offsides than maybe it is in the regular season. But Newman just does so many things well for a young player. He's got all the little details down, including, clearly, his hard count.
Yep.
So it'll be half the distance to the goal. It'll go to the 4-yard line. 1st and goal to go for Columbia. 7:52 here in the first quarter.
Steve Corey somewhere is saying, just give it to Olvera. That works. Trust me, it works. We did it all year last year.
2 wide receivers left, 1 to the right, Newman. And they let the screen come. There's Olvera. Is he? Oh, he's just short. Big number 69, Cody White, able to grab him from behind and keep him out of the end zone. It'll be 2nd and goal from inside the 2.
Flashbacks, Dusty?
Yes, I've seen that play before. Cody White from Estacada, he's made plays sideline to sideline. All 53 and a third are not safe from that 6'7" defensive lineman.
They spotted inside the 1, so 3 yards on the little screen to Olvera, the middle screen.
And in comes Gunnar Yates, the unbelievable small school running back. 388 yards in the state title game, a state record.
So he is at a slot in the left. He comes back, it'll be Newman keeping it, and he dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Columbia. A 1-yard dive there. They got Yates faked the dive to him up the middle, and Newman snuck around the end for the score.
If this game keeps going the way that it is, we're going to look way smarter than we are. We talked about Max von Arx in pregame, Cody White, Gable Vera, Gunnar Yates, Crew Newman, checking every box for us. This is wonderful. It's almost like we know what we're doing.
And what a great pull by Crew Newman on that,
Fantastic.
too, because the end was in perfect position, and he held on to the very last second before he pulled that out and got the touchdown.
And again, it's those little details. Crew Newman just plays like a very, very polished guy. You'd have no idea that he's a younger player in this game with the way that he plays football.
So Spencer Fisk hits the extra point with
We
Keegan
mentioned him,
Line.
too.
Yes. And it's 7-0 now. 12 plays, 53 yards in 6 minutes and 22 seconds on the scoring drive for Columbia. Newman 4 of 5 for 36 yards on the drive. Olvera 3 carries for 9 yards. And Dotson Green with a couple of catches there. And so now Team Willamette will try again. And usually the rotation, depending, it'll be either a quarter for the quarterbacks or every couple of drives, depending on the coach, how they decide to hand the rotation between the quarterbacks.
Pine might just tell Crew, all right, you're done. You got your touchdown. You took a couple of shots. We're going to need you next fall. So you take a seat. Now, he'll probably play again, but definitely Crew with a great drive there, but did take some hits, big-time hits in that drive.
So Kyron Albright and Malik Ross are back deep at their own 5-yard line to receive the Spencer Fisk kickoff.
Albright is an unbelievable return man. I think he had 3 or 4 touchdowns on kick returns this last fall.
And Fisk, another line drive to the left corner. It's taken by Ross right at the goal line, out to the 10, 15, stutter step, 20, 25, to the 30, out to the 38-yard line before he's brought down from behind. He caught that right at the pylon, and that is some fancy footwork.
And that's pick your poison. Malik Ross, one of the best open field playmakers in the entire state. On the other side, Albright, who's one of the best return men anywhere you will find in the entire country. He was unbelievable last year. You can't kick it out of bounds every time, but it is tempting with those two. A nice play there by Ross.
Fisk, his range is just to the goal line. Trust me, if he had another 5 yards, he'd like to get it out of there. And so Mikey Gibson remains at quarterback. Ross sets up behind him in the pistol. And they'll throw a flanker screen to the right, caught by Perez, and he's forward along the sidelines. We'll see where they mark him down, right at the 45-yard line. So he'll pick up 5. They put Ross all the way out to the 40 on the return. So a 40-yard return for Malik Ross. And it'll be 2nd down and 5 for Willamette.
Nice play there by the Tillamook linebacker, Aiden Johnson. Pursue the football, make the tackle for only a gain of 5.
2 wide receivers to either side, and now Kelly goes in motion. They can't handle the snap, and it's finally dove on by Jayshon Pete, who's in at running back out of Grant, first team all-PIL running back.
Those drive killers in regular season football, but part of the game when you're in an all-star game. I mean, the snap from center to quarterback is always the tough one. And then at the mesh point between a quarterback and a running back, it can be dicey either way, and we got the double whammy right there, the mesh point and the snap. So
6-yard loss back to the 39-yard line. 3rd down and 11 now for Willamette. Again, moving right to left, trailing 7-zip. 5:40 here in the first quarter. Kelly in motion. Settles in the slot to the left. Gibson now dropping straight back. Pressure comes. He's flushed out to his left. Slings one and finds Marion Kelly over the middle. It'll be short of a 1st down as he's ridden out of bounds across the 45.
Now, Marion Kelly is a guy that I heard a lot about heading into last year. Roosevelt High School, and he's a slash. He could play quarterback or receiver for this Willamette team.
And that's the perfect way to say it, because that's kind of the scouting report, is like he's Cordell Stewart. I mean, he was Lamar Jackson in the PIL to some extent. It was hard to stop him, and he did have games where he'd have 150 yards rushing with 3 touchdowns, 275 yards passing and 4 touchdowns, and they'd lose. I mean, it was like these games where they're 70-56.
Wow.
He's a phenomenal player. Marion Kelly, one of my all-time favorites in the state of Oregon, playing receiver here. Again, played quarterback all high school, but he could end up being a pretty good receiver at the next level.
Well, Willamette's going to punt this away with Soren McKee, and it is taken inside the 10. Bouncing outside is Olvera, making guys miss out to the 20. into the 23-yard line before he is taken down by Austin Rapp out of McMinnville.
One of my other favorite players, also out of Roosevelt, Lindell Betts with a monster D-cleater block. Lindell Betts had a serious leg injury, and it looked scary for a while about whether or not he'd come back. At one point as a sophomore, he looked like he could be a big-time prospect. That injury really derailed him, but he did make it back, obviously playing in this game. One of the really good stories in the state of Oregon, Lindell Betts. He is going to play, I believe, at the college level. A phenomenal story because, again, looked like his career was in jeopardy at one point after a very serious injury. That group in the backfield, Betts and Kelly, unbelievable for Roosevelt.
He looks to be healthy after that block.
Newman back at quarterback on 1st and 10. A quarterback draw, and he's trying to filter through traffic. There is absolute. Oh, and he gets away out to the 30, and he's spun out of bounds by Ben Yunt, the junior from Mountain View.
Well, Silas Wallace out of Jesuit may have gotten away with a little bit of a hold on Cody White, but Crew Newman made the best out of it because he spun out of 2 Cody White tackles there, the big D lineman from Estacada. What an athlete Crew Newman is.
Yeah, he went right off the back hip of Cody White, who got spun around and wasn't sure north from south. It's a first down out to the 34-yard line, gain of 11 for Newman. 2 wide receivers right, 1 to the left. Gunnar Yates now in the backfield for Columbia. And Newman, flush to his left, lobs a pass over the middle, finds the tight end, Stark out at midfield, and he's up the right sideline to the 42-yard line.
Crew Newman just buys time, drifts to the sideline, points his tight end. Usually for him, that's Riley Williams. In this case, it's Stark. Finds the first-team All-State tight end at the 5A level, drops one in there for a first down. Crew Newman with 2 unbelievable plays, just like he did in the state title run. Sometimes with his legs, sometimes with his arm, but constantly moving the chains. Unbelievable.
And a great job identifying a mismatch, right? You got a 5'9" middle linebacker trying to chase your 6'5" tight end across the field. He puts one where only his guy can get it.
1st and 10 now in Willamette territory. Handoff, Gunnar Yates on the right edge. He runs over the defensive back. Yunt got him down, but not until he's inside the 30. Gain of 14 for Gunnar Yates.
That is a burst from a 3A running back right there. Gunnar Yates out of Coquille. Man, what a burst he just had to get it. 12 easy yards.
And it's a little tempo offense. Yates will get it again. Turning right, cuts back into the middle across the 25, down short of the 20. They'll spot him at the 21. That will be a gain of 7.
So 2 carries, 21 yards, probably all-time in his high school career, 10.5 yards a carry. That probably brought down his average, those 2 carries. Yates has been an unbelievable player. Another one of the state's best stories here these last couple of years.
And the great thing about it is it's a one-cut back, right? You look for the hole, and if you're running inside zone, it's just see the butt, cut it up, right? And he does a great job of doing just that.
Empty backfield on 2nd down and 3 from the 22. Newman looks right, throwing the corner out, and he's got Stark. Touchdown, Columbia. And he beat Kyron Albright off the line.
Newman pump fakes that he's just throwing a little bubble screen to his receiver. That allows Stark to get behind the defense. And then again, Newman, instead of throwing it in there, just lasering it in, he just kind of floats it and lets Stark run under it. I don't know if Crew Newman has had a play that we would describe as anything other than textbook. He's been phenomenal. He scored a rushing touchdown on their first drive. On this one, a beautiful pass to Stark for the touchdown.
Fisk on for the extra point, up and good with 2.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. It's been all Columbia, 14-0. Newman now 6 of 7 for 81 yards and a touchdown passing, 4 carries, 4 yards and a touchdown on the ground. And for Stark, 3 catches, 63 yards and a touchdown here in the early going. And so Willamette right now, and Coach Lever, it'll be interesting to see. I think this might be the time maybe to switch things up, give Hero Diamond maybe a little look from Liberty, a little different look where he can tuck it and run if he wants to. a 6'8" honorable mention quarterback out of Liberty, but just give him a different look.
Yeah, and Amarion Kelly also listed as a wide receiver quarterback. I don't know if he's option number 2, but man, he is electric when he's back there. It'd be interesting to
You
get
got to
him some
think
snaps.
there's some sort of reverse pass play in that they've worked on.
It's coming. It's got to be.
Might want to pull out something here as Fisk gets set to kick off again. And it is Ross and Albright back again deep to receive.
Team Willamette really, they've struggled a little bit on first down. They've gotten behind the chains. I wonder if they don't, on first down, get the ball in the hands of Kelly, let Malik Ross get them to second and medium, because when they're in those situations, it takes a little bit less pressure off these dual-threat quarterbacks, allows them to do a little bit more with the playbook.
So it's 121 to 24 yards so far. Columbia with the lead. Ross from his own 2 comes to the middle of the field, and he's hit and dropped at the 14-yard line. And in there was Zach Wabel. We hadn't called his name, but it was only a matter of time till he got his hands on a ball carrier.
And I mean, if they had betting favorites for this, he'd be the odds-on favorite to lead this game in tackles. That's just who he is. He's a guy, you look at the stat sheet at the end of the game and you go, 18 tackles, 19 I mean, he put up crooked numbers all the time in total tackles. Very, very good football player, and you saw it there, just absolutely decleating Malik Ross.
And we do get a look at Hero Diamond, the 6'2", 170-pound senior from Liberty. He was a member of the 1,000-yard club last season. He will hand it off to Bryce Poithier, the senior running back from Newburgh, who tries the right side and gets a couple out to the 17-yard line.
Poithier is going to be a guy that he knows one thing or two about leverage when running with the football. An accomplished wrestler for the Newburgh Tigers.
Yeah, they list him at 180, but he won at the 160-pound level in wrestling.
That's how wrestlers work. He was probably $180 3 days after the state wrestling final.
The Pacific Conference Defensive Player of the Year coming here to Linfield as well. 2nd down and 7. The toss to Ross, left side, makes a man miss. Makes a second man miss and spins forward. He's dropped by Cale Paisley.
Just kind of downshift, and then hit it into gear for the first down.
Picks up, where do they spot that ball? Across the 25, out to the 29-yard line.
And that's what it looked like their first couple drives, to be honest. It looked like Team Willamette was getting pretty good push up front. They were just getting behind the chains on first down, and it felt like with the running backs they have, if they just keep the ball on the ground, they should be able to have some success running this football.
11 yards for Ross. 1st down and 10 for Willamette at their own 29-yard line. Minute 41 to go here. So we are playing college rules. They do stop the clock to move the chains. And a little inside handoff to Poithier that time. And more trouble with the snap for Diamond. Both teams running, I don't know if you want to call it a pistol or the shotgun, but kind of a zone read sort of look. They're about 5 yards behind the center. We haven't seen anybody get under center yet.
It's weird because when the spread was first starting and we were calling Les Schwab Bowls, it was awkward for a shotgun quarterback to go under center. Now it is awkward for any center. It's center to have a quarterback under him.
So Ross now is the lone setback. 2 men in motion, or 2 men in the slot. Fakes the handoff. Diamond keeps it. He finds room on the left side, and ankle tackle there. And a great stop for number 17, Timmy Mitchell.
And that's where, Hero Diamond and Mikey Gibson are going to make their presence felt. And even if you want to go one step further and you want to throw it towards Amarion Kelly at quarterback, if the Willamette team is going to run the football or move the football, it's going to be with the quarterbacks running first and then softening up the defense to hit them deep.
Gain of 7, 3rd down and 1 now for Willamette. Likely the final play of the quarter as we are down to 10 seconds. It's a split eye. Handoff, Ross, straight ahead. Nothing doing. Big number 64 getting in the way.
Gibby Coyle
that is
also.
Silas Wallace who stood him up.
Gibby Coyle also in there. The two of them just stonewalled the back for no gain.
And they will get the quarter break to decide what they want to do on 4th down and 1 from their own 38-yard line. We played 15 minutes. It is Columbia 14, Willamette nothing. It is the 2022 Les Schwab Bowl presented by Express Employment Professionals on 1080 The Fan. Runs across the 30 to the 34-yard line, 10-yard gain and a first down. Good patience that time from Diamond before he took off.
Aiden Johnson again on the tackle, and that's what Diamond brings. If somebody's not open, he's got the legs to extend plays, and in that case, get a first down.
Quickly back up front, Pete takes the carry off left tackle and gets a yard to the 35-yard line.
Grant sneakily had one of the best 1-2 running back combos in the state. Jay-Sean Pete, who is an all-league performer, and Chili Davis, a younger player who's coming up and got a chance to be a star next year. Chili Davis got his nickname. They couldn't find him before a grade school game, the coaching staff. Like, where's Chili? Well, he wasn't nicknamed Chili yet. Where's Davis? And they found him in the stands eating a bowl of chili like 5 minutes before the game started. So then he became Chili. So Jay-Sean Pete, Chili Davis, one of the best 1-2 punches at running back in the state for Grant.
He coincidentally gets the same nickname as Chili Davis, the baseball player, too, because he's eating chili? That's crazy.
Wild.
Malik Ross back in. Kelly in motion. Handoff to Ross off left tackle. Trips over a man. He gets right over Richie Anderson before picking up 3 yards. Out to the 38-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6. And teams taking their time, getting the plays in now. Diamond running all the way over to the sideline, getting the play from Lever.
And this just feels like an absolutely crucial 3rd down. You cannot give the ball back to Team Columbia down 21-0 mid-second quarter because they've scored on all 3 of their drives.
He's got Ross to his left shoulder, takes the snap, drops straight back, now flushed out to his left. Anderson off, and he runs again, and he's going to have another first down. So right now, the Columbia defense, but we've got a hold, and that had to be whoever was trying to block Richie Anderson.
Yeah, that's going to be on Kevin Cassidy, a really good football player in the class of 2023. Got a chance to really pop and be that FCS, FBS level player. But on that one, Richie Anderson, just a little too much for him. Had to hold him to give the edge to Diamond to get around to get that first down. It's going to come back.
And so that'll negate the first down run from Diamond. And they'll march that 10 yards from the spot of the foul, which was well behind the line of scrimmage. This is a huge penalty. And once again, a costly mistake for Willamette. They move it back to the 19-yard line. They need to get to the 44, so it is 3rd and 25 now.
3rd and a Gunnar Yates carry away, which is, of course, a huge distance.
So they go 2 wide receivers to the left.
You're not kidding. Gunnar Yates averaging 24 yards carry.
Yeah, no, I did the math there.
They hand it off in motion. It's a double reverse. Marion Kelly's got the whole left side of the field. Oh, what a great tackle by Hayden Hurley out of Sunset, who held his ground. He was the backside contained guy, and if he missed, Kelly was off to the races.
The entire stands jumped up. They thought that was going to the house. I thought it was going to the house. There was one man to beat, and he had to make a shoestring tackle, and he did it on Amarion Kelly, one of the most explosive players in the state of Oregon.
That was an incredible, playing the upfield hip and just pursuing downhill the entire time. What a great play by Hayden Hurley.
Another punt from McKee, fielded at the 26-yard line, running backwards and all across the field, upfield, and he ran out of room that time. Lindell Betts, there he is again. Just an incredible story to come back from a major injury and look explosive. I mean, multiple guys had an angle on him. He still almost got that edge. Lindell Betts, a phenomenal football player.
Football field's only 53 1/3. If it was 53 2/3, he may be going to the house on that one. He just needed a little bit more to turn that corner.
Kyron Albright there cutting off the angle. So they'll spot it at the 28-yard line. Columbia now has outgained Team Willamette 173-70. And Manu Maliuna will remain at quarterback. In at tight end now is Hayden George, a 218-pound sophomore out of Lebanon. He's quite an athlete, all-state baseball player as well. Oh, the handoff to Alverni, fumbled it. Manu Maliuna was trying to hold on to the mesh point too long. Who's got it? And Willamette with the first turnover of the game. Coming out of the pile that time for Team Willamette was Sam Willis. The 265-pound senior defensive lineman from the 5A champion Silverton Foxes. He's headed to Utah State.
Just had to have that play. You dial one up and you think you're going to house it before a shoestring tackle takes away what should have been probably a touchdown for Team Willamette. Just one play later, they get the ball back in business at the 25-yard line, 26-yard line. You've got to put points on the board. You're down 21-0.
Snapping and mesh point. It's the hardest parts of all-star football games.
Mikey Gibson back in at quarterback. And they'll hand off on the sweep, and it's going to be a pass over the middle. It is. Oh, it should have been caught right there as A.J. Perez at the 2-yard line. As it was Cody Hall from Sherwood who took the fly sweep out for the pass, and Perez is going to have nightmares about that one.
Well, he was going to take an absolute shot, and guess what? Even though he dropped it, he took that shot anyway, and that's one of those situations you've just got to hang on to the football. 2 plays in a row now. Team Willamette's dialed up big-time plays. Both could have gone for scores, and instead they get nothing out of either of them. That's brutal.
Yeah, curious you're running that play with Cody Hall instead of Amarian Kelly, but now we're back in the I. Pete at the running back, runs up the middle. Gibson on the left sideline, threw it too wide, intended for Albright. And it's 3rd down and 10 now after the fumble recovery for Willamette. They're at the 26-yard line of Columbia, who is pitching a shutout 21-zip with 10:18 to go here in the second quarter.
I mean, at this point, when you're on the 26-yard line, you have a 3rd and 10. And the way that your offense has been going through the air, run the football right now. You have Mikey Gibson in there. He's had success with his legs. You have a stable of running backs that have been very successful. I wouldn't be surprised to see them run a little bit of that zone read option where they can just get the sticks, cut the sticks in half, and give yourself a chance on 4th down.
So Pete is the tailback in the pistol. Gibson takes the snap. And he lobs it to the left pylon, but Richie Anderson absolutely blew up Jayshon Pete and got into the legs of Gibson. And that'll bring up 4th down. And it looks like we're going to see a field goal attempt.
Richie Anderson just committed to Colorado State this week, and he's one of those guys that I kind of was interested to see if he held off, if the Pac-12, if an Oregon State wouldn't have come calling. There's some growth in him. If he hits the weight room hard, he could really explode and be a big-time prospect.
This will be a 43-yard field goal attempt for Soren McKee out of Summit. From the left hash mark, high end over ender, but he hooked it left, and it will come up empty, and it will remain 21-0 Columbia with 10:07 to go here in the second quarter. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Les Schwab Bowl presented by Express Employment Professionals. As he is looking to take cover, finds room up the middle across the 20, makes a man miss at the 25, still on his feet. And he is taken down by Zach Woostig, kind of the rover back at 6'1", 180 pounds. He is the 2A player out of Jefferson down in Willamette Valley.
The other
Jefferson. You always see that exit as you're coming out of Albany, diving down in there to head to Corvallis.
I don't always see that exit. I'm not often in Albany.
It's right near Scio.
Well, Scio, okay. Now I got you.
You're talking to 2 guys that have lived here a long time. 2nd down and 4. Handoff, Olvera trying to get outside. He finds the edge, 30, 35, and can't sidestep the tackler. Getting him to the ground there was Marshoon Waters out of Grant. But it'll be a 1st down for Columbia to the 38-yard line. And the vision of Olvera His ability to change gears, both speeding up, slowing down, trying to let the traffic go by, and then has the nitro burst when he sees green.
Well, I don't know what you do as a defense. Crew Newman seems to always squeak out of those piles and get an extra 4 or 5 yards, and then Olvera's got the vision to kind of get through things. It's really tough to stop those two when they're in the backfield together, and then the backup guy is Gunnar Yates, who's averaging 24 yards a carry.
Newman now doesn't see anything to his right. He tucks it and runs, and then he is stood up. Woostig got him again.
I just keep looking at Steve Pine, Central Catholic head coach of the Columbia team. Every time Crew Newman takes a hit, he just looks down at his shoes. Just like, I know it has to happen. I don't want it to happen. It's one of those things where you're looking at your quarterback and going, all right.
If Crew Newman were 3 inches taller, I seriously think we'd be talking about, especially if you add some arm strength with those extra 3 inches, you might be talking about a 4-star prospect. He's that good. He's just not the biggest guy in the world at 6 foot 190.
6 carries for 13 yards. They fake the handoff to Gunnar Yates, and now they throw it on the wheel route to Yates up the left sideline. Nobody's there. He gone. No one will catch him. Touchdown, Gunnar Yates. 62 yards.
And making his case for the MVP in the first half. Gunnar Yates is putting on a show.
Which one?
A 52-yard touchdown run, a 62-yard touchdown catch and run to the end zone. Whew. And all of a sudden, it is 27-zip with an extra point attempt coming for Columbia.
Yates is averaging over 30 yards a touch with 2 touchdowns right now. It's unbelievable. And Crew Newman, every time he's in the game, his team puts points on the board.
Fisk's extra point attempt is good. Just snuck that one over the crossbar. 28-0, 7:51 to go in the second quarter. And you were wondering, the coaches were drafting the players this time, trying to even things up a little bit. Now,
Gunnar Yates.
Interesting, there were a lot of Central Catholic players that are on Coach Pine's team and some Tualatin players on Coach Lee. The players who have coaches here on the staffs.
I think Gunnar Yates was worth like the Rudy Gobert trade. 5
Maybe.
picks and 5 players. He's been unbelievable. I mean, he's just been unbelievable.
But I'll tell you, though, the offensive line for this Columbia team has been outstanding. The all private school starters that we saw rolled out there at the beginning. I mean, it is a very good group of linemen that they have, and they're opening up holes and making it really easy for Crew Newman and Gunnar Yates to put on the show that they have.
And those 5 guys, the 5 starters, all underclassmen. 3 juniors from Jesuit, a junior from Central Catholic, and a sophomore from Marist.
Give us the names, man.
Royce Cleland at center. Sean Corey, Sam Keene at the guards. Bo Cress Allen and Silas Wallace are the tackles.
Jesuit's going to be pretty good because Jace Burton's back too. Jace Burton's a big-time playmaker. They've got clearly one of the best lines you'll find anywhere in the state, maybe in the whole Northwest. It's going to be fun to watch what this Jesuit team can do.
And a guy that we haven't even talked about, Lonnie Burt, who's just a sophomore playing in this game.
I love Lonnie Burt.
It's taken by Nolan back at his 2, finds room up the near sideline across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Hayden Hurley rides him out of bounds. They will spot him at the 29. First down and 10 for Willamette. 7:44 to go, trailing by 4 touchdowns. Now they need to find a way to put points on the board before they go in the halftime locker room.
I think there needs to be a halftime trade of Gunnar Yates.
You think
even this thing up by the end of the third quarter.
We should mention the entire coaching staffs. 4 Team Columbia and Steve Pine as assistants. John Guthrie from Central Catholic. Josh Line from Sheldon. Ken Potter from Jesuit. Justin Stark from Thurston. Terry Summerfield, who's now the defensive coordinator at Lake Ridge, longtime Barlow head coach. And Tony Graziani from Summit on this first down and 10 play.
Now, Graz found the cheat code. He's quarterback's coach for both teams.
They dump it off. It was intended for Kelly, but the pressure coming hard at Gibson, and bringing the pressure that time was big number 52, Aiden Johnson out of Tillamook.
Graziani came to Oregon and was kind of sandwiched between a run of of Chris Miller and Danny O'Neill, and then there was Achilles Smith and Joey Harrington kind of after him, and so he becomes kind of an afterthought. But he put up some big-time numbers when he was in Eugene. He was a very, very good quarterback, and I believe his running back at the time was Saladin McCullough, one of the most productive junior college backs ever to go to Oregon along with Maurice Morris.
2nd down and 10. Malik Ross back in at the running back spot out of the shotgun. Gibson drops back over the middle, finds a man at the 40-yard line, and that is the tight end, number 10, Oliver Fisher out of Sherwood.
Picked up an offer from Boise State this week. That's generally a good strategy. Get the ball in the hands of guys who either broke records in the state title game or have multiple scholarship offers.
So a first down for Willamette to the 40-yard line. The Willamette coaching staff for Dan Lever: John Beck from Grant, Kevin Haston from Sherwood, Corbin Hyatt from Summit, Eric Moen from Tualatin, our buddy Anthony Newman from West Lynn, and Tony Graziani again from Summit. Quarterback coach for both of them. Pass to the out. Route is caught, hauled in by A.J. Perez. Can't break free of the coverage from Hayden Hurley, and he knocks him out of bounds shy of the 45-yard line.
Hayden Hurley has done a really nice job making plays. As a defensive back, sometimes your number doesn't get called unless a player catches a ball on you. But he's done a great job in terms of pursuing and making plays against the run, and then in that catch that he did just give up, very, very sure-footed to make that tackle, wraps him up, brings him down, despite the fact that A.J. Perez was trying to jitterbug around him.
Gain of 3, 2nd down and 7 from the 43-yard line of Willamette. 2 wide receivers left, 1 to the right. Poithier is in at running back. Or no, that's Hudson Davis, a leading fullback for Gibson on the quarterback keeper, and he is going to be thrown backwards in on the stop that time. It's number 59. Or 69, I think that's Charlie Evans.
A lot of local flavor added to this game right here at Linfield University. We got McMinnville player on the field and Austin Rapp. You got a couple of Newburgh players on each side of this game, and it's good to see because the fans in the stands, Newburgh, McMinnville, well represented here.
And Charlie Evans, another one of the state wrestling champions.
You don't say. From Newburgh, huh?
Yeah, shocking development there. It's 3rd down and 4 from the 46-yard line. Gibson, quick hook route, finds his tight end for another first down. Oliver Fisher across midfield to the 48-yard line. So a little bit more ball control here from Willamette, trying to march one down the field methodically.
And it sounds silly to say, but there's games where you're down 28-0 and you can't do anything right, and that's not been the case for Team Willamette. They've actually moved the ball pretty well. They've just had issues on first down, getting behind the sticks, as now there's another penalty, and not capitalizing when they've had opportunities.
Well, they're going to take advantage. Gibson saw that Columbia was slow getting guys in and off the field, went to the quick snap and got the illegal substitution penalty, so they'll get a cheap 5 yards. 1st and 5 now at the Columbia 43-yard line. And for Gibson, he's now 5 of 10, but just for 32 yards. Diamond is the leading rusher with 17. Malik Ross, 4 carries for 15 yards. Columbia's outgained Willamette 299-93 with just under 5 minutes remaining here in this first half. Columbia 28, Willamette nothing. 2 wide receivers left, 2 to the right. Malik Ross now the running back. Out of the shotgun, Gibson fakes left, looks right, now over the middle. He's got a man deep, lobs it up for Perez, but it hung up forever. McNabb with the interception, but we've got a flag down there. Hurley and Perez kind of locked up, and we'll see what the call is. Gibson got his legs hit again. He couldn't step into the throw. It was a wobbler and a jump ball.
I don't know what you do when it's a jump ball like that. I did not see a penalty there. I thought that should have been a clean pick.
He didn't get his head around, but at the same time, the ball was thrown so far inside, you thought that would be a no call there.
Hayden Hurley going to get flagged for the pass interference, and Willamette gets bailed out.
And he's not only had a good game, but also on that throw. That ball was thrown about 15 yards too far inside and short. And so because of that, when the receiver went to turn around, he kind of ran into Hurley, who was trying to cover his guy, and they throw the flag. It's a nice break for Team Willamette. We know they could use one. They need to capitalize. They got a turnover in this territory before and went 3 and out and missed a field goal. This time they've got to get points on the board.
1st and 10 at the Columbia 28, 4:33 and counting. Pete now at the running back. He's behind Gibson out of the pistol. Pressure off the left side, cutting across. It's Kelly, makes the catch at the 26-yard line, and he is taken down from behind by Austin Rapp.
It just feels like Kelly is going to break one at some point. He almost had about a 75-yard play before the shoestring tackle got him down at the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, he was gone. And on that one, he just feels like he needs another inch or two, and he's able to get away from the defenders instead. They hold him to a short game.
Zach Wabel also in on the stop.
Turns out he likes to tackle.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Pacers will miss him next year. 2nd down and 8 from the 26. Kelly coming in motion behind the running back, and it looks like a broken play. Gibson's trying to run out to the left. He's just going to tuck it, get to the sideline as much as he can. He'll be just shy of the 1st down at the 20-yard line. Not sure if that was supposed to be some sort of option, but Kelly went in motion, went behind the running back, Pete. They were both going the same way, and somebody forgot something.
Heady play by the quarterback to get close to a 1st down there. It's going to be 3rd and short.
You
that
also
could have been
had
disastrous.
Aiden Johnson in there messing things up, too.
A lot of palms up by the Willamette team, so that tells me completely broken play right at the beginning as the replay on the Jumbotron
Who,
show.
me?
So Gibson making the most of that. Gets him down to the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Perez split out wide to the left. Vanden Fessler split out wide to the right. We haven't called his name tonight. Poithier on the carry, plowing forward. Rapp had him around the knees, and I think his forward progress is going to get a 1st down. Poithier goes 5'8", 180, but he plays bigger than that.
Boy, his pad level got real low at that first point of contact. I mean, he was stood up at the beginning, but then he got low and just churned his legs moving forward. A very tough run by Poithier.
And now Hudson Davis will come in as a fullback on 1st and 10 from the Columbia 18. 3:05 to go. It's a reverse bootleg for Gibson. He's running for the pylon. He is just short. Hammered at the 2-yard line out of bounds, and we got a flag. And it looks like it was Luke McNabb in on the stop. Get a look on the replay. He got around Richie Anderson looking for the pylon underneath. It was Hayden Hurley who wrapped the one leg.
Love the scheme on that play, though. You bring your tight end in for the Willamette team, Oliver Fisher. There you go on the unsportsmanlike
conduct. So it's a little
conduct.
Taunting or something after the play. The hit was clean.
But you bring in Oliver Fisher, the tight end who just picked up a Boise State offer, as Andrew had pointed out earlier. You bring a fullback in, and you offset, and you run a toss action. Everybody starts flowing that way, and you got Naked coming back to the other side. The one guy who's been a one-man wrecking crew on that lone side has been Richie Anderson. But you saw the speed of Mikey Gibson able to turn the corner, and dang near got that thing in for 6.
You use that pursuit of that linebacker, the edge rusher, against him. You let he's been crashing all day. You know that, so you run that naked action, and it allows you to get to the edge and potentially get in the end zone.
First and goal at the 2, direct snap to Malik Ross, but we've got a flag from the near linesman, and we've got a false start.
It just feels like every time Team Willamette gets a little momentum, they have a little hiccup. It's not a disaster. It's always just little hiccups.
And so it was the fullback that time, Hudson Davis, who was trying to get started with the lead block for Malik Ross. So they'll move it back to the 7-yard line. 2:58 to go here in the second quarter. Willamette trying to get on the board as they trail Columbia 28-0. Coming up at halftime, we'll chat a little bit about some of the top prospects in the state of Oregon coming into this 2022 football season this fall. We've got a timeout on the field. We'll keep it here for you. 28-0. Columbia with the lead, 2:58 to go. and just some of the guys. We're really looking at sophomores. Well, sophomores moving to juniors, juniors moving to seniors. So the classes of 23 and 24 are really the ones that are getting all the attention now. Also an opportunity, Dusty finally found a new best friend. You were
right.
filtering through the friends for the last month. I didn't make the cut, apparently, after my 2 hours in the hot box. But yeah, you've settled on a friend, so we'll let you discuss that a little bit too. But congratulations. If you didn't hear, Danny Meringue joining you for Dusty and Danny starting on Tuesday.
That'll be awesome. I'm really excited for it. I mean, Danny obviously brings so much Blazers knowledge, but I think when people get to hear him talk about all things, Northwest sports, whether it's the Ducks, the Beavs, or Pac.
Or even USC.
He's got USC.
He's got to explain his USC Trojans.
He can talk Big Ten football now. He's got a lot more than just his Blazers knowledge. So it'll be awesome to have Danny join the crew.
And Danny's an awesome guy. I think a lot of the folks at 1080 were familiar with him prior to that, just because all media people know each other.
Well, and he's been doing the podcast with Brandon Sprague.
Right, and he's truly one of the good ones. And that podcast, the Jack Ramseys that Sprague and Danny do, is also phenomenal. So Danny's familiar with a number of people at 1080. I pick his brain all the time in the DMs on Twitter about Blazers and Pac-12 football and things like that. So I'm really excited to hear him every day along with Dusty. That's going to be fun, noon to 3, Monday through Friday.
All right. Not sure what we've got a little stoppage. Officials over talking to our man John McCallum, president of Primetime Sports. He's the chief honcho out here organizing this event. Not sure if we had a clock issue. And now our referee is headed over to the far side talking to the Willamette coaches, explaining the situation.
Are they trading Gunnar Yates right now?
I would try. Maybe Richie Anderson, too. I think we're finally all set to go. First and goal from the 7-yard line. It'll be Mikey Gibson still in at quarterback.
Where's Gunnar Yates supposed to go?
You're the recruiting expert.
I'm the FBS, FCS, usually recruiting expert.
Here we go. Gibson with the snap over the middle, time to the corner, and Hurley was all over Perez that time with great coverage. Pass goes incomplete.
Uncool sweat. Undecided.
Yeah, he's undecided.
Someone's going to throw a walk-on spot on that kid if he doesn't go JC, and I bet we hear his name on Saturdays at some point. He's a phenomenal football player.
He certainly is, and he's been electric here in this first half. Gunnar Yates, 3 carries, 73 yards, and a touchdown. 1 catch, 59 yards, and that went for a touchdown.
You would think that the small schools kid whose dad played in the NFL, people may have heard about him before, but that's the way the recruiting cycle is, man.
Second down and goal. They're throwing it. Kelly to the corner. He caught it. Does he get them both? Yes, he toe tapped. It's in. We got a flag. And is this going to come back for offensive pass interference?
Sometimes rub routes can rub a little too hard.
And was that Vanden Fessler maybe who was clearing a little too much space? As our officials are talking it over. And once again, a penalty.
It was a good call.
Ruins a drive for Team Willamette. 2:46 to go, and they'll move backwards from the 7. This was started as first and goal at the 2.
And I know I sound like a broken record, but I do have to say again, the score is 28-0. Willamette has had now 2 trips to the red zone, and separate from their 2 trips to the red zone, ran a pass to Amarion Kelly, ran a play to Amarion Kelly, and he looked gone. We stood up, the stand stood up, they thought he was gone. It should be something like 28-21-ish, and instead we're looking at 28-0.
And the ball's all the way back to the 22. Second and goal at the 22. And now we've got another timeout for Willamette, and we've seen them now. Their levers trying to go deep into the playbook, but maybe some stuff, depending on the personnel package, that they didn't quite practice those plays as the unit. He's had a lot of different formations and packages. He has rotated guys through more often than we have seen Coach Pine do for Team Columbia so far tonight. And with 2:46 to go, Willamette is trying everything any way possible to figure out how to get this ball in the end zone.
You know, over the course of the season, you go through all of your situational football, and this is what we want to do here. This is where we want to go when we are third and long, third and short, second and intermediate. I don't think in the week that they've been at the Les Schwab Bowl, they got to 2nd and 22. I don't think
second and goal from the 22.
Yet.
Not the longest goal to go play Dusty and I have ever called.
No, Lake Ridge,
Oregon City. Did they get back to midfield? Hand off to Hall. Now a Marion Kelly. Now he's going to throw it to Gibson. He's caught it, but he had to wait for the pass, and that allowed Hayden Hurley to come up and make the tackle at the 17.
Now, Marion Kelly, he holds on to that for probably 3 or 4 more strides, and you have Mikey Gibson with the ability to clear everybody else and find some wiggle room and into the end zone. But he felt the pressure coming a little bit too hard from the Columbia defense. Very well defended by Columbia.
So they get 5 yards down to the 17. 3rd and goal from the 17. Clock running at 2:10 remaining in the half. 28-zip Columbia.
I'm working the phones. Let's get Gunnar Yates a landing spot here. For real, we'll get him something. Let's do it.
As a Southern Oregon University alum where his dad played, I would politely ask you to stop because we would like him.
I'll let you take care of that. I'll work the other stuff.
2 wide receivers to either side. Ross off the right shoulder of Gibson. Now he's looking left, and he's going to be stopped. He's hit once, then hit twice. The first one to get him was Richie Anderson, and then it was your boy Chuck White who finally knocked him to the ground.
There we go. Richie Anderson and Chuck White, 6A and 4A, joining forces and bringing down the quarterback. And here we are, another situation where on the doorstep, on the 2-yard line, and now we have a 3rd down and goal from the 29-yard line. It's been 1 step forward and 2 steps back all night for this Willamette team.
And I think we're going to get another field goal attempt from Soren McKee. He missed from 43. This one's going to be longer. This is going to be 46, 47 yards. And so Soren McKee, who was a second-team 6A goalkeeper for his soccer team as well for the Storm. I think he would he'd prefer to have the elevation from the home field to help him out a little bit here.
It is not foreign to us to have a Central Oregon kicker be the MVP of the Les Schwab Bowl. I remember, Zach Emerson from Mountain View High School a handful of years ago.
When you kicked the game winner.
I think he was the only scoring in that game. If I remember, it was like 1 billion degrees at Hillsborough Stadium that day.
So here we go, 46-yard attempt straight away. It is a little more leg. Is it through? He got it with room to spare. So Soren McKee from 46 yards puts Willamette on the board. They got a long ways to go, but the goose egg is gone. 28-3 Columbia with the lead, 1:37 to go. 2 timeouts on the board showing for Columbia. And we'll see who Coach Pine turns loose here, if it'll be Crew Newman or if he will give Manu Maliuna a chance at it.
And this is always fun. I mean, we see this all the time where, we were talking, you don't have 2nd and goal from the 22 in your playbook yet. But one thing that all these coaches do is they put in 4 or 5 plays where it's like, all right, guys, this is what we're running our 2-minute. If we have a situation at the end of the half, we're going to go hurry up. We're not going to make it too complex, and these are the shots that we're going to take here. So that's kind of what they're going through over on the Columbia sideline right now is we're going to see how much room our return men give us, but we'll have about 1:20 to go. If it's a good return, about 1:30. If these guys have what they've usually been doing, because we've had some pretty long returns here. Special teams have not been as sloppy as we've seen in years past.
And so we've got Betts back along with Mitchell back at their own 2-yard line waiting for the Soren McKee kickoff. And we saw the strength of his leg there as the 46-yarder probably would have been good from 50. So we'll see if he can put this one into the end zone as everybody is set and ready. McKee steps into it. High end over ender. It's going to be taken by Mitchell up at his 10. And that speed straight forward to the 29-yard line in a blur. Making the stop for Willamette is Caleb Clardy, the junior from David Douglas, second team all 6A linebacker for the Scots. And so they will spot it down at the 29-yard line. And it will be Manu Maliuna in at quarterback for this 2-minute drill. It'll be a 90-second drill. 2 timeouts for Columbia to work with as they start. Olvera off the left shoulder. TC fires out to the right wing. It is caught by line, and he's dropped out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Pickup of 6. Making the stop is Joe Schultz, a 6'8", 180-pound senior from Summit. First team Mountain West Conference defensive back. Second down and 4. Minute 26 to go. 2 wide receivers left, 1 to the right. Olvera flares to the right. TC's pass over the middle, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, tight end Grayson Stark. Just a little low for him. Stops the clock with a minute 22 and brings up 3rd down and 4.
And, we were talking about some of the guys that are going to be playing in their last games. Grayson Stark is one of those guys, but his football life is going to be ending as he's going to go on to University of Oregon, where he's going to be a student assistant and try to work his way up through the coaching world. It's a very cool path to go down, staying in the hometown team.
Handoff Olvera, who bounces it out to the far right side, and he will be stopped in bounds, so they keep the clock running. And maybe a pickup of 1, so it'll be 4th down and 3. Willamette is out of timeout, so they can't stop the clock. And we'll see. Pine might run this all the way down. The play clock is at 25. He can take it down to about 30 seconds. And he might take it all the way down and use one of those timeouts to burn a little clock. TC is looking to the sidelines there. Players with hands on their hips. And the play clock is down to 5. And Coach Pine will call the timeout with 33 seconds remaining in the half. 4th down and 3. And so we will get a punt from Fisk. First punt of the game.
What?
What?
A what? A punt?
A punt, yes.
It's not a real thing. Crew Newman says those don't exist.
Wow.
First punt of the game for Columbia. Willamette has punted 3 times in this game. It's been all Columbia, 306 total yards to 110. Crew Newman, 7 of 8 for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. Quarterback for Columbia, Gunnar Yates, 3 carries, 73 yards and a score. Stark, 3 catches, 63 yards and a score. For Team Willamette, Gibson now 6 of 12 passing for 34 yards. He's also the leading rusher with 7 carries and 22 yards. Hurley and Wabel are the leading tacklers for Columbia with 5 apiece. Rhodey is the leading tackler with 5, the defensive end for Willamette. Fisk takes his time and sends one down. Malik Ross with the catch of his own 24. Makes the first man miss, darting left, and then runs into the pile at the 36-yard line with 25 seconds remaining. And so now we'll see if it'll be Mikey Gibson or Diamond. But no timeouts, so nothing short. You can't risk getting tackled without being down the field, getting the clock to stop to move the chains. And it will be Diamond in at quarterback for Willamette. 2 wide receivers to either side of the field. Ross picks up the blitzer. They throw an out route. It is incomplete, intended for Vanden Fessler. The slot back out of Silverton. 4 seconds run off the clock. 5A All-State first-team wide receiver and defensive back for the champion Foxes. And of course, Dan Lever will be going to Silverton after taking Tualatin to the championship game at the 6A level with Tualatin last season. So Diamond works out of the shotgun, 2 wide receivers left, 2 wide receivers right, 1 to the left. Out of the shotgun, pressure comes. Diamond now, he's going to tuck it and run, and he's going to be knocked down at the 40-yard line. Clock runs. Oh, we got a flag. That might have been leading with the head there.
Columbia's averaging at the half more than a point per play. They've run 27 plays. They have 28 points.
And the score's 28-3, and I think something that needs to be emphasized here is that the impressiveness that Columbia is playing with, because they're on pace to have 612 yards of total offense. They are executing at a ridiculously high level. Whether it's Gunnar Yates or Crew Newman on the offensive side of the ball, they're playing outstanding. They have Olvera at the running back position who's been great. You have Stark, the 6'5" tight end, who's been making plays, running across the field, catching balls in traffic. I mean, they have the guys who, and this kind of happens in all-star football games. It's, all right, who are the guys and which one of the teams is going to be the one that steps up and wants to be the one to take the all-star game?
So a personal foul, 15-yarder added to the end of the run, just the hit up high by the head as Diamond was going down. Pressure up the middle. He throws it to the sideline. Perez makes one man miss, but he can't get back to the sideline, just to the 41-yard line. And the time will run out in the half. Hayden Hurley with another great stop. And Team Columbia will head to the locker room with a 28-3 halftime lead. Willamette going to go back to the drawing board a little bit. And Team Columbia will just make sure everybody keeps their legs underneath them, hydrates properly. The weather ideal for this sort of game. Temperature just around 70 at kickoff. Some overhanging clouds. So nobody should be having any conditioning issues here in this one. We'll come back. We'll preview the upcoming high school football season with these classes of 23 and 24. Who are some of the names that we should be looking for, some of the programs to look for, and we'll also check in with Dusty. His new show starts on Tuesday with his new partner, a little bit about what to expect there. Our score at halftime here from Linfield University. Team Columbia 28, Team Willamette 3. This is the 2022 Les Schwab Bowl presented by Express Employment Professionals on 1080 The Fan. And for Team Willamette, defensive end Braden Rohde with 5 tackles to lead the way, and linebacker Zach Wustig out of 2A Jefferson with 4 tackles. Team's getting the extra warm-up period here. But if you are Team Willamette, we've mentioned they've been their own worst enemy at times. 6 penalties for 53 yards, and they all seem to come on third downs. Or they had a couple on first and goal from the 2 that took them out of touchdown range. Their only point's a 46-yard field goal.
It's 28-3. They've been near the red zone or in the red zone twice and got 3 points out of it. They had a trick play that looked like it was going to the house. The whole crowd stood up. I pointed to the end zone. I was thinking Amarion Kelly, who's going to Southern Oregon, was gone. He got shoestring tackled that saved putting 6 on the board. This very, very easily could be 28-17. It could be 28-21. Instead, we're looking at 28-3, and Team Willamette's got a long road.
Before we get started here in this second half, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the 2022 Les Schwab Bowl presented by Express Employment Professionals. Ready to start the second half. You look at some interesting stats. First downs, Team Columbia only with 12. Willamette has 10, but those third down conversions, 2 for 8 for Willamette, 2 for 3 for Team Columbia. And so the fact that they've only had 3 third down plays and no fourth down plays is pretty remarkable for what Columbia does. And we've mentioned Willamette has held the ball nearly 18 minutes to just over 12 for Columbia. It has been those big plays.
Well, Team Columbia's run 27 plays. They have 28 points. They're averaging more than a point per play. This isn't basketball. We're talking football. This is unbelievable. They've been remarkably efficient, and part of the reason is they have so many different guys that can take it to the house on any given play. Yeah. And even when things do seem to break down, you've got a guy in Crew Newman who just sort of sneakily finds a way to move the chains. And all that does is give them 3 or 4 more plays to then put it in the end zone. When you've got guys like Gunnar Yates, when you've got Gable Vera, when you've got the talent that this Team Columbia crew has, if you can sustain drives, eventually someone's going to break one, and we've seen that seemingly every time they've touched the football tonight.
And they, of course, Columbia will get the ball to start the second half, so I always forget. Usually there's some rules to avoid trickery, and you can't blitz and all of those things. And somewhere along the middle of the second quarter, it all goes out the window. If you're Team Willamette, do you try and pull off an onside kick here to start the half?
Why not?
See
what
if you can catch him napping. And it will be Betts and Olvera back deep to receive the kick.
Dan Lever's pretty scarred when it comes to onside kicks.
That's true.
In that state title game this last fall. Central Catholic and Tualatin were playing in a fairly close game, but Tualatin did need kind of a momentum starter. They kicked an onside kick. Central Catholic got it. A few plays later went into the end zone, and then from then on it was a boat race. So he might want to kick this one deep just because he's scarred from the trauma of the last time he called an onside kick.
So it is Soren McKee set to kick off from our left to right here up in the booth, and it's a short pooch kick, and it will go out of bounds, so it'll be at the 35-yard line for Team Columbia. Not a well-executed kick there. They were trying to land it over the front and well in front of the receivers. There was probably a 15-yard gap, so trying to do the pooch kick, see if they could run onto it. But it took a left hook and went out of bounds. Much like my drives.
I've had so much fun watching this offensive line for Team Columbia, specifically. You look at Jesuit. Jesuit, I think, entered the tournament last year, entered the state playoffs as an 8 seed. They're never an 8 seed, and they made a nice run. They are going to have a very good senior offensive line. Royce Cleland, Silas Wallace, and Sean Corey, all phenomenal football players.
Here we go. Direct snap to Gunnar Yates. His crew went wide, and he's got nothing up the middle. Forward progress for a yard.
That's going to hurt his average.
He was swallowed up by Spencer Elliott that time.
First half, 4 touches, averaging 33 yards per touch and 2 touchdowns.
You know the crazy part about that? I saw his dad at halftime, and I started talking to him about what's next for Gunner and where he wants to go, and he actually still is up in the air between Linfield and Southern Oregon. But his dad goes, yeah, it's not bad for a kid playing on one leg. He pulled his groin running the 100 at the state track meet.
So Crew Newman now back in the shotgun. Low snap. He grabs it. Pump fakes left. He goes down the middle of the field, and it is going to be intercepted. Diving catch made at the 40-yard line by Marshoon Waters, who was playing center field. Read the quarterback's eyes all the way.
Grant's done a nice job producing some pretty good athletes over the past few years, and the next iteration for this program is going to be a guy like Marshoon Waters, who makes a great play there, just playing that free safety role, reads the quarterback's eyes, it's a little underthrown, he closes on it, dives, and makes the pick. That's what Team Willamette needs. They got the turnover. They've had these opportunities. They haven't been able to capitalize. If they can start to do that in the second half and slow down Gunner Yates, keep him from averaging 30 yards a touch, we might end up having a ball game by the end of this one.
Tell you what, that was textbook by Waters, the way he played that. He backpedaled, read the eyes, and then just broke right on the post.
So it'll be a keeper by the quarterback, Hero Diamond, to start the second half for Team Willamette, and dives forward for 2 yards to the 42 as they start on their own side of the field but set up in great field position. Diamond in that first half, just 1 of 2 for 8 yards passing. 3 carries for 22 yards, and so add on 2 more there. He's up to 24. Perez will split out wide to the left. They'll go with Pete as the tailback and Hudson Davis the up back option. Diamond keeps it, goes up the middle to midfield. He's got a first down before he's tackled by a trio of Columbia players.
Hero Diamond has a little bit of shiftiness to him where, Crew Newman for the Columbia team, he's more explosive and slithery, right? When you watch Hero Diamond, he just kind of bounces off people through the hole. It is far less, sexy looking as what Crew Newman does, but it's just as effective. He holds defenders and freezes them with stutter steps, and he just ends up falling forward for big gains.
What he lacks in sexy shiftiness, he makes up for with a name like Hero Diamond on the all-time all-name team.
And we've got a stoppage of play. We're going to have a timeout.
How worried were you when I said what he lacks in sexy shiftiness he makes up for? Every once in a while when I start going, you look at me like, oh, my gosh.
I'm in with Dirt and Sprague every morning.
Right.
You got to work harder to phase me than that.
All right.
We got a timeout on the field. We'll take it. 12:53 to go here in the third quarter. Team Columbia 28, Team Willamette 3. It's the 2022 Les Schwab Bowl presented by Express Employment Professionals on 1080 The Fan. Cody Hall with the sweep as we resume play down to the 41-yard line of Team Columbia's. Willamette's looking for their first touchdown of the game. Jason Swigard back here with Andrew Nemec and Dusty Hara. 28-3 Columbia, just under 13 minutes in the third quarter. And Team Willamette a little bit more methodical, sticking to the ground game here early on with quarterback Hero Diamond and continuing to work at different guys. Cody Hall out of Sherwood there from the slot on the sweep. And on second down and 4, little swing pass to Malik Ross. He's got a first down up the left sideline, out of bounds at the 30-yard line. and knocked out by Luke Cummings that time, the junior from Astoria.
You know, that's the impressive thing about Malik Ross is that we've just been waiting for him to get that inch, right? To get an inch that he can make you pay. And Columbia, to this point, has been doing a great job of swallowing him up on the defensive side of the football. Now he gets that little swing pass out there, and he's able to pick up a first down to move the chains for the Willamette team.
Fessler with a great block for him on the edge to allow him to get the first down to the 30, 1st and 10. Hall in motion, takes the handoff, and he's hit behind the line of scrimmage and dropped. And that is Richie Anderson once again. Big number 11 out of Tualatin.
Richie Anderson is just crashing every play. You've got to do some stuff to counter him just absolutely collapsing that side every play. They did it earlier and got a first down out of it. They're going to have to do something different because anything that takes time in the backfield, he's there quick.
There's a loss of 1, so it'll bring up 2nd down and 11 for Willamette at the Columbia 31-yard line. Diamond bringing the play from the sideline into the huddle. Perez will split out wide to the right. Kellen Hale now in the slot to the left. Hall slot right goes in motion behind Pete. And they'll go over the middle to Hale, and it is caught on the slant route to the tight end down at the 21-yard line. A pickup of 10. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Nice, quick, decisive read by Hero Diamond, finding the layered slant routes on the outside. You have a little shoot created, and he goes with the inside slant over the backer, under the safety. Great throw by Hero Diamond.
Hudson Davis now will come in at the running back position. The junior out of Newburgh playing both ways. So Willamette using a lot of the play clock to get the plays in from the sidelines. 2 wide receivers to either side of the field. Hudson off the right shoulder of Diamond. It's a straight quarterback draw. First down to the 15. Makes Hurley miss initially and got an extra 5 yards before Hurley could grab some jersey and get him to the ground.
Hey, there it is right there. I mean, he takes 2 shots and just keeps on moving forward and down the field. I mean, Hero Diamond, he's not afraid of contact. He leans into it.
So it is a 1st and goal to go right at the 10-yard line. So a little bit more conservative here with the play calling for Willamette, but it's been effective and efficient. They've mixed in some passes, but some short passes, a swing pass to Ross, and then the slant over the middle to Hale. 1st and goal, out of the shotgun. Diamond drops back, looking, and the pocket collapses, and he goes down. Richie Anderson again.
Oh,
but
weird.
That was good coverage because he initially had a little bit of time. Thought about taking off, and then he tried to find a secondary receiver, and that allowed Anderson to get him.
You know, I talked about at halftime that there isn't a player in the state of Oregon that's ranked in the top 600, and Tui Toli is the number 1 player in Oregon, just committed to the University of Oregon over Nebraska. My number 2, which is not finalized, for a long time has been sitting on my computer with Richie Anderson at number 2. He's 7 and 8 in a lot of people's rankings. I think we're seeing a player who could be a Pac-12 edge as he develops.
Diamond going for the post route. It is Hale. It is a touchdown, Willamette. No flags. Great looking pass from Diamond to Hale on the corner route. Keeps his feet in bounds, and Willamette finally finishes a drive in pay dirt.
So much was made of Jackson Jones and Malik Ross and Richie Anderson from that Tualatin team. One of the unsung heroes of that group was Kellen Hale, who ran a beautiful route there from the tight end spot and hauled that thing in for a touchdown. Kellen Hale, very, very good football player that, again, was a little bit underrated in Tualatin's run to the state title game.
All right, we've got the old Oregon send everybody left. Looks like they're going to go for 2. Oh, a little razzle-dazzle. Oh, and he missed the jump pass to Hale. He had it, and he just out threw him by a fingernail.
He went for the little fumble-rooski look, put the ball between his legs, Diamond did, and had 2 guys running to the left.
Including Richie Anderson.
And then Hale leaks out, and all of a sudden, just a little bit too far out of the outreached arms of the tight end. Oh,
It's right timing, and that isn't that the perfect set up for what's gone on for Team Willamette. It was the right play call. It was there. You just missed it. And honestly, even though it's 28-9, you just missed it is the difference between this game kind of right now, to be honest with you.
9 plays, 60 yards in 4 minutes and 46 seconds on the scoring drive. The 2-point conversion failed, and with 9:25 remaining in the third quarter, Team Columbia 28, Team Willamette 9. And so now with the rules here to try and keep things competitive in the second half, Willamette will get the ball back because it is a larger than 2-score deficit. So certainly nobody wants to see blowouts, but now that Willamette has a little momentum, if they can get it back within 16, then we will go back to kicking off, but it'll be Fisk kicking back to Willamette. Some of the fun rules at All-Star games. Want to keep the fans' interest going.
Well, I mean, Team Willamette's been pretty effective as long as they don't have penalties. And you think
no penalties on that drive.
And you think as long as this game goes along and some of those issues get worked out, you go from first snaps in several months to, okay, we've got a half under our belts. They're going to become more efficient. If that's the case, and we're kicking the ball to them over and over, they got a chance to make this a football game.
So it will be Spencer Fisk to boot it away. And they will try the pooch kick, and it'll be taken by the up man at the 27-yard line. And that is Kellen Hale, and he's dropped at the 33. So Willamette once again with decent field position. And I'm assuming you just leave Diamond in at this point. They have a little something going, him keeping it, handing off, and then the short passing game, using Malik Ross as kind of a decoy, or at least the tester to find out which way the defense is flowing.
So how about Kellen Hale? He was a key contributor, rotation guy for Tualatin State title team, a first-team all-conference linebacker, and was second in the district in the javelin.
Yep.
We talk about guys that have just contributed all across the board. Kellen Hale, a phenomenal high school career.
Kelly in motion. They fake the handoff. Diamond over the middle. Finds his other tight end, Oliver Fisher, all alone at the 50, all the way down to the 40. McNabb drops him at the 37-yard line. So, again, they're starting to use the fly sweep motion as misdirection, trying to get linebackers flowing one way and throwing back against it.
And a little spark for the Willamette team. Look at this. There's a little pep to their step moving down the field.
Uh-oh. Quick snap. They had trouble with it. Ross ends up with it, but and the ball comes loose. Was he down? No.
I think he was down.
The big fella, Meepan Jampa, off to the races. Oh, we almost had a big guy touchdown, but they'll say he was down by contact. Again, tough snap at the mesh point. The snap was high. Ross was already there. He ends up with it, and it'll be a loss of 9 yards. Or where are they spotting it? No, a loss of 4 yards back to the 41-yard line.
That snap was bobbled, and Noah Staley is one of the tougher football players you will ever find out of Jesuit. He can play that fullback role. He can play the edge. He was in the backfield quickly, and if that ball, just by a millisecond was he down. If that's not down, that's 6 points, and that would be solely because Staley got in that backfield immediately upon seeing that ball was free.
So Staley and Anderson are the edge guys. Merlino and Paisley are the interior linemen right there for Columbia. Zach Holsey out of Waldport at one of the corner spots. Austin Rapp playing a rover position, and we'll have a timeout. Lonnie Burt Jr. in there as well, along with Gibson Coyle, but a timeout. We'll hold it here with 7:49 left to go. Willamette now with a 2nd down and 14 in Columbia territory. Finally got their first touchdown of the game. They trail 28-9. And Diamond now is the leading rusher for Team Willamette, 7 carries for 41 yards. And he's 5 of 6 for 73 through the air with that one touchdown. So getting him a little more comfortable. It's always tough for the second quarterback that comes in Just you've been standing over there on the sidelines. You get all loose and ready to go, but you know you're going to be the second guy, and it's tough sometimes to find a rhythm. And especially if the packages as they go, you're now with different guys than you practiced with during the week. Out of the shotgun, it's Diamond. Wants to go deep, finds a man short over the middle. It'll be Hale, good for 5 to the 36-yard line.
Sometimes it's okay, especially when you're down. You know, so many quarterbacks want to get that big chunk play and put points on the board. Sometimes it's good to just take the check down, get 5-6 yards, and live to fight another day. It's 3rd and long, but
you're in 4-down territory, I think, here
exactly.
At this point,
it's
too.
It's a smart thing to just take the 5 or 6 yards and go to 3rd and 9 instead of being at 3rd and 15, 3rd and 16.
Ross now in at running back off the right shoulder of Diamond. 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. That's Albright split out wide right. Kelly in motion, fakes the handoff. Diamond goes up the field, veers right. Not much room. Noah Staley is there, along with Chuck White to make the tackle.
Staley easily, if there's an award for most animated, he gets the award. He's hitting himself on the helmet. He's pounding his chest. He's flexing every time he's in there. You love to see that in July. That much passion for the game of football. It shows in the fall. It shows in July. Some guys, when they put on the pads, they're just an animal, and he is one of those guys.
4th down and 7. They need to get to the 27-yard line to keep the drive going. Diamond now sends 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Ross off his left shoulder, ball right in the middle of the field. Snap, hauled in. He's going to go deep down the middle of the field. He's got a man, ball underthrown. It's intercepted.
What a catch.
He was looking for a Marion Kelly, but it was underthrown, and Timmy Mitchell Jr. hauls in the pick.
I'll tell you, that was an underthrown ball by Hero Diamond, but Timmy Mitchell caught that one-handed turning on his hip. That was an incredible catch by Timmy Mitchell.
We got a flag back at the line of scrimmage. They didn't stop the play, so you wonder if maybe the defense lined up offsides.
Tualatin had a huge series of wide receivers with Peter Burke and Kellen Hale, and Richie Anderson plays some tight end and some wide receiver. All those guys at different times in the state title game lined up out wide on Timmy Mitchell, and Tualatin tried time and time again to throw that deep ball over the top of him. He's probably 5'9". I don't know what he's listed at, but he's about 5'9", 165, 170. They could not complete a pass. Here we see him go at it again. They throw it Timmy Mitchell, and he gets an interception. The kid's only a sophomore. In his first game, he played in this thing as a freshman last year, had a 99-yard fumble return. In his second Les Schwab Bowl ever, he gets an interception.
So the penalty was ineligible player downfield. The receiver was covered up. And so now Timmy Mitchell stepped in the end zone, so they called it a touchback. And here we go with Mano Maliuna at quarterback, handing it off to Olvera for a short gain out to the 23-yard line.
You know, sometimes when you have an all-star game, the covering up of the wide receivers, a little bit of one of those ones where you maybe let it go, but the officials are still trying to hone their craft as well. Just call them as they see it.
Well, it's an all-star game for the officials, too. They don't want to stick out. TC hands it off. Olvera, sweep right. He's got room to the edge. 25-30, 35-40. Knocked out of bounds across the 40-yard line. Jaden Moses was in hot pursuit, the all-PIL linebacker from Grant.
Keegan Line did a phenomenal job blocking on the edge. I do wonder if they're going to call
he might have done too good a job blocking on the edge, as there's a flag at the 31-yard line.
He says, listen, that's not fair. My dad was a fullback. We blocked physically. I only know one way, and that's all the way. And sometimes at receiver on the edge, you're going to get called for that.
And everybody's walking backwards. So the flag was thrown at the 31. They'll move it back to the 21-yard line on the hold.
I will tell you this. There would be some animated coaches on the Columbia side if this was a regular season game based on that hold. But by the book, yes, it was.
So TC Amano Maliuna now dropping back. Pressure coming. He's got to tuck it.
Great play.
In on the stop. It's Braden Rohde, the leading tackler now for Team Willamette.
Gets the sack and then busts out a Michael Jackson impression with the little dance move there. I like to see it. In an all-star game, you can get away with it. In a regular season game, that's definitely a 15-yard penalty. But Hey, listen, I always a good MJ reference.
They lost of 5, so it's 3rd and 14 now out of the shotgun. TC, pressure coming. He's going to tuck it and run, and he's run up the backside. Spencer Elliott, somebody lost a hat. And we got all sorts of yellow hankies on the field.
And that was just a very, very unfortunate play by Braden Rohde, who made the play the last time, does the Michael Jackson dance. This time, while the quarterback's on the ground.
It's a face mask.
While the quarterback's on the ground, rips his helmet off and kind of tosses the helmet, actually. So that's going to be a 15-yard penalty, and he's got to be smarter than that.
Yeah, another costly penalty, this one from the defense. That gives Team Columbia a first down out to the 35-yard line. With 4:57 here in the third quarter, Columbia leading 28-9. It was all Columbia in the first half. They have yet to find that turbo boost that we saw in the first half from them. Handoff, Olvera. Big hole up the middle across the 40 to the 42-yard line.
I don't know what they put in the water in Lake Oswego, but all their backs seem to get hit. It doesn't matter how big or little they are. They fall forward for 3 or 4 more. That time, Olvera probably had enough room to get 4. Instead, he kind of squirts forward, and it's a gain of 8.
Well, it all started with Anderson way back, and I can't remember his first name, the running back, one of Corey's first ones.
I know who you're talking about.
Billy Anderson.
Yes.
That's
Pass
right, yeah.
batted down at the line of scrimmage.
Were you just waiting on that the whole time?
Oliver
just watching
Fisher.
us struggle?
I
appreciate that.
I
Thank you for that.
Because he was a teammate of mine at Southern Oregon.
There we go.
No, Billy Anderson, who was Portland State and Southern Oregon, was a phenomenal running back. And kind of that, you're right. You know, Cole Clausen kind of fit that mold too, right before when you had Cole Clausen in the slot. With John Rust and Brett Elliott as the quarterback.
Man, that was a squad.
They were good.
3rd and 2 after the Olvera gain. He'll hand it off again, this time a little slow, and Fisher was back there to meet him for a loss of 3.
We all 3 have long histories with high school. I was the ball boy and water boy for the Oregon City team that made the state title game and played Roseburg in the mid-'90s when Cade McNown was the quarterback for West Lynn in that big matchup. With Scott Ackerman, who got drafted and played in Major League Baseball, or made it to the minor leagues fresh out of high school. You've played for years. Your dad coached. Just a lot of history in this booth in terms of watching games and growing up going to high school football games.
4th down and 5, and so Fisk is on to punt for Columbia from their own 40-yard line. So the penalty not too costly as Fisk steps into a wobbler taken by Ross at his own 22, looking for room, and Gunnar Yates not letting him go far. The near side official throws a flag 25 yards. And we'll see what that one is. But a nice open field tackle by Gunnar Yates.
And if you're part of that Oregon City ball boy team, I mean, Ed Burton, one of the great coaches.
Greg Lord, the defensive coordinator.
Yep.
I learned every iteration of every cuss word ever imaginable from Greg Lord.
And a phenomenal baseball coach as well. That was those, and then Thurman Bell on the other side of that state championship team. I mean, you think of the great coaches that have come along and kind of ushered in what we're seeing now is some of the greatest coaching across the board in the state of Oregon. And the tree branches aren't that too far off of those big tree trunks that are guys like Thurman Bell.
And, of course,
your dad coached a bunch of the coaches that are now high school coaches now, right? I mean, some of these guys you've grown up with, too. Joe Bushman, I know he's down at Lewis and Clark, but a number of the coaches. Who are some of the coaches you've grown up knowing?
And Adam Gunther down at Wilsonville High School is a guy that has been a huge influence in my life. One as a player for my dad at Lewis and Clark, and then ended up as our offensive line coach when I was at Glencoe High School, and then now as the head coach at Wilsonville. He has been a tremendous influence on my life, and I mean, there's countless others that are assistant coaches around the state.
So Gibson back at quarterback, a holding penalty even threw him back further. Perez left wide open on the left sideline, makes a move at the 40, and Hayden Hurley finally gets him out of bounds, but Hurley had dropped into coverage, and Perez was left wide open on the far sideline. He'll get it out to the 44-yard line.
Well, that almost looked like they snuck Perez in off the sideline, but it was seemingly a smash combo on the top side of the formation where you just had a hitch in a corner.
Another tough snap as they go quickly. Here's finally a catch for number 19, Vanden Fessler out of Silverton for a little tempo offense, short gain. He's shy of midfield at the 49-yard line, picks up 5. It was 25 yards on the completion to Perez, and so Gibson now, after a diamond came in and got the offense going for Willamette, trying to pick up the pace, see if he can use his arm just a little bit. He's got Oliver Fisher at the tight end position on 2nd down and 5, just shy of midfield. Hall on the sweep, bounces it outside, and they come up. What a great play. The outside linebacker that time was Jason Cox out of Sunset. Richie Anderson forced the play out wide, and Cox was right there to turn him back.
Chuck White also in there. Banks, pretty familiar with him as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I coached Chuck in high school, and this is another small world. My dad coached Jason Cox's dad, Jeremy Cox, at Lewis and Clark, and Jeremy's now the defensive coordinator at Sunset, does a phenomenal job. I mean, like, it makes my heart warm seeing guys that, my dad coached and his son now playing and teaming up with the tackle for a kid that I coached.
3rd and 9. Gibson floats one up into center field, and it is hauled in and intercepted. And I believe, who is that? Oh, that is Charlie Evans, the senior from Newburgh, playing center field, hauling one in. And we hear his friends and family contingent right below us from our broadcast booth.
It's so funny, all the different iterations. My dad coached Peter Weber, who is the OSAA executive director when they were at Baker High School. So just the connections to everybody, so-and-so coached that was just
well,
cracks
and of
me
course,
up.
I grew up watching guys like J.J. Burden and Anthony Newman play on the field. I was at Lake Ridge when Tom Smythe won his first high school state championship, beating Crook County.
Boy,
and saw guys like Teddy Rose play, Jason Columbus play quarterback.
Doug Nussmeyer.
Nuss, my boy Nuss. He's now a tight ends coach with the Dallas Cowboys.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize
He was an offensive coordinator. He was at Alabama and Michigan jumping around, and then took the tight ends position with the Cowboys.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was with the Cowboys. That's cool. Look at us.
So Gunnar Yates there. The carry didn't go anywhere. He lost 2 yards.
They've got him a little more figured out.
Yeah.
Crew Newman back in at quarterback now for Columbia with a 28-9 lead. Minute to go here in the 3rd quarter. Newman going to go deep down the middle. He's got a man. It is, just beyond the fingertips. That was intended for number 14. Zach Dodson-Graney had beaten his man and just couldn't turn it over fast enough.
You do not see Crew Newman miss many balls like that. He floated that nicely just past the fingertips of his receiver. He'd like to have that one back. Crew Newman in an incredibly efficient game. Definitely up for MVP of this thing, but he'd love to have that one back.
So 3rd down and 12 now for Columbia from their own 27-yard line. They need to get it out to the 39. Yates remains in at running back. Betts is in a slot to the left with Dodson Green beyond him. Keegan Line split out wide to the right. Out of the shotgun, it's Newman, and the big fella moved. Unfortunately, that is Bo Cress Allen, who just got the momentum going backwards, and he couldn't stop it. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 17.
We talked about Jesuits O-line being pretty good. Central Catholic should have a pretty good O-line next year. Maddox Carpenter, really, really solid player, 6'1", 250-pound interior offensive lineman. I know that's a miscue there by Bo Cress Allen, but 6'5", 270 pounds playing in an all-star game. He's got a chance to be really good as well.
So out of the shotgun, Newman on 3rd and a long 17. He's going nowhere. And he is finally chased down. Hudson Davis there in on the stop, along with Spencer Elliott. Good coverage downfield. Newman didn't have anybody to go to. He gets 6 yards back, but it is 3rd and 11.
He's a little bit shaken up for the first time. He's jogging it off now, but he took an absolute shot. And if you're Steve Pine, you're going, maybe you're done for the day, young man.
Well, they can run this all the way down to the end of the quarter. Game clock at 20 seconds, play clock at 26, so I don't expect them to snap this. There's no wind of note to take it. Oh, they did snap it.
It's an all-star game.
And a low line drive kick takes a great bounce past Malik Ross. It hopped up for him. He takes it, but he's got a host. And Hayden Hurley right there to throw him on the ground. Keegan Line was down there as well. And we got a flag back at midfield. And we'll see what happens with this one. But it was a line drive. It took a great skip on the first bounce. And then the second bounce, it hopped up in the air as Malik Ross ran right underneath it. But when he picked it up, there were 3 blue jerseys right there, giving him nowhere to move forward. So we've got a unsportsmanlike on the Columbia bench. Don't know if they were encroaching on the field or somebody. It was during the play, so I can't imagine it was something somebody said. I think they just were encroaching on the play. So that will bail out Willamette, and with 2 seconds remaining in the quarter, they can run a play before we switch ends of the field, trailing 28-9. And it will be Mikey Gibson remaining at quarterback. Malik Ross in off his right shoulder. Kelly goes in motion. And they pitch it to him on the right side. He's forced back up the middle, makes 2 men miss. Anderson finally runs him down from behind at the 38-yard line. And that will end the third quarter. 15 minutes to go. The Willamette defense has stepped up here in the third quarter. They held Columbia without a point. Now it's up to the offense as they trail 28-9. Fourth quarter action when we return. This is the 2022 Les Schwab Bowl presented by Express Employment Professionals on 1080 The Fan. Fourth quarter starts with a toss left to Malik Ross, and he is forward progress going to get him right near the sticks at their own 42-yard line for Team Willamette. Depends on the spot. He's a nose of the football short. He didn't get it quite to the hash mark, so it'll be third down. They are going to measure as we're back here at Linfield University. Jason Swigart alongside Andrew Nemec and Dusty Hara. And after all the explosive plays from Columbia in the first half, they didn't do much offensively in that third quarter. Willamette spent most of the time with the football, 10 minutes with it, but only the 1 touchdown, and then they missed the 2-point conversion. And while they certainly have evened things up with the run of play, still unable to pay things off with points.
Yeah, it just feels like Team Willamette is playing very much a July football game, while Team Columbia at least started like they were in mid-season form. The chemistry was there. You know, we talked about the mesh point. They ran some plays there where they picked up some big gains doing that kind of thing. Crew Newman hit some receivers in stride. And on the flip side, Team Willamette just had too many penalties. They got to first and goal at the 2 and ended up first and goal at the 25, something like that, and ended up with only 3 points. So just too many miscues for Team Willamette in the first half. They're correcting them here, but maybe too little too late. We'll see what they can do in this fourth quarter.
After the measurement, it is a first down for Willamette at their own 42-yard line. 2 wide receivers to either side. Ross now is the tailback. Pressure coming off the edge. They swing it to Ross, but he's not going anywhere. Hurley was the first to get to his ankles. Wabel came in to finish him off, but again, Chuck White, Richie Anderson, pressure off both the edges, forced that play off of its timing and schedule.
Everything is just those edges are just coming. They're just barreling downhill, no hesitation. You've got to do something to kind of counter that with some misdirection, maybe a quick screen pass. You've got to do something to kind of get them backing up or thinking, because right now they're just coming, and as you're dropping back to throw, they're back there before you can get to your second read.
So it'll be 2nd down and 14. And it'll be a keeper this time for Gibson, and he has blown up Wable again. He had Gibson, and he got him right at the ankles for a gain of 1.
And that's to exactly what you're saying. Having Gibson with the keeper is the counter to that. When you have Wable with playing a textbook inside linebacker,
I got this.
And filling and playing inside out, that was a heck of a play by Wable.
And it was the right play call. I mean, we just diagnosed that and said they're coming too hard. You got to run some misdirection and get up the middle. They did, and Wable just cleaned it up.
Timeout. Willamette will take it with them. 13-12 remaining to be played. Team Columbia 28, Team Willamette 9. It's the 2022 Les Schwab Bowl presented by Express Employment Professionals here on 1080 The Fan.
I get
12 from their own 40. 2 wide receivers right, 1 to the left. Hall in motion. They hand it off to him. Anderson can't. Oh, he got enough of him. God, he's getting up the field so fast. The fly sweep to Hall and got him on the ground for a 2-yard loss, and that'll force Willamette to punt.
Well, this is one of the issues when you have that guy coming up the field like that, 235 pounds of Richie Anderson, and when you're trying to have a 160, 170 pound wide receiver slow him down, it's a speed bump on the way to the ball carrier right there when you're trying to get to the edge and set it with the wide receiver.
His 7th tackle of the game. And the punt, and nobody back to field this, and it will go. Great punt from Soren McKee, goes out of bounds at the 18-yard line. So Team Columbia not wanting to risk the potential of a fumble or something going wrong back there. And right now, they are more than happy to go on a long, methodical 15-play drive. Well, we've seen Steve Pine do this every once in a while when he's got a lead, and he will be more than happy to go to the running game.
You know who he's probably looking at? He's looking at his counterpart on that sideline, Ken Potter, and he's saying, "Hey, you know how to do this,
Your
right?
turn."
You know what a 12-play or 12-minute, 25-second drive looks like."
So do those linemen.
Got this, right?
TC Monomaliune and sprinting out to the right now. He's going to tuck it and go 20-21, and he's popped out of bounds. Big hit from Bryce Pothier.
He launched TC. TC got in the air. Airborne on that one.
And we got a flag in the backfield of Willamette. I thought he popped him while he was in the field of play. So unless this is 12 men on the field. Oh, so this is on the offense. So we got some hands to the face. And so it will go backwards, negating the scramble from Monomaliune. And let's see where this ends up at. So they'll spot the ball at about the 10-yard line. So it'll be first down and 18. TC back, pressure coming. Who got him? Hudson Davis was there. Or no. Was that Jason Cox?
Braden
Rohde.
That was coming off the edge there, we were just talking about how with Richie Anderson and Chuck White for the Columbia team, you know, you have Rohde, who's a linebacker, coming off the edge, 2-point stance coming off the edge against the tackle. 2nd and 20. Monomaliu over the middle. Ball's deflected and lands in one of the hands of the offensive lineman. Who is that? Big man making a catch. That is number 66,
it's
Sean Corey of Jesuit.
He ran with that ball and then held it up for celebration. It doesn't get a ton of yards, but anytime an O-lineman makes a play, you got to celebrate it.
So it was intended for Hayden George. It was a little high, and as he tried to pull it back in, just couldn't handle it. Right into the hands of Sean Corey, and moves it out to the 18-yard line. So he'll pick up 10.
I got the update from my wife. I take care of my daughter all the time at home, right? So my wife works.
You're a little worried about the post-game meal.
My wife works from 1 to 10, 5 days a week. So I'm home with the 3-year-old. I've just gotten I never leave home.
She knows where the late-night feeding establishments
are? Well, that's
are?
fine. Yeah, we're good there. She's devastated that I'm not home. Trying to get her to brush her teeth and go to bed, and she's like, this is all Dad's turn. He brushes my teeth, he puts me down. What is going on? So it's a disaster in the Nimick household, is what I'm being told.
We got a flag in the backfield.
Any advice, Dusty?
Grin and bear it.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Enjoy the time away, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, wife. Best of luck.
Well, sorry to Sean Corey. His catch is going to be negated by a penalty.
Not in an all-star game. It's not.
I'll tell you what.
Get Reggie in here. Tell him to change the rule.
I was totally on board with that first down call, though he didn't realize that the sticks, we still had 10 yards to go. It would have been 2nd down and 9 after that catch that he just made. He signaled for a first down, not realizing which end of the sticks he needed to get to.
That's an O-line move, right?
That's an O-lineman move. You touch the ball, you signal that first down. I'm surprised he didn't signal a touchdown.
How many points is this worth?
Back inside the 5-yard line. 2nd down and forever. Monomaliuna heaving one from his end zone. Oh, and a great job by Zach Dodson Green to throw up his arms. He got tangled up with Jalen Moore that time, flailed those arms, and drew 3 flags.
If Dodson Green doesn't have drama club in his bio here for the Les Schwab Bowl, I think somebody's missed the mark.
And so on 3rd down and forever inside their own 5, it'll be a 15-yard penalty to move it out closer. It's not an automatic first down in high school. So they get out to the 19 and make it a manageable, a doable 3rd down and 10 now. They need to get to the 29-yard line. 11:26 to go in the 4th quarter. Things have come to a screeching halt with a bunch of penalties here. 28-9, Columbia leading Willamette. Out of the shotgun, Manu Maliuna looking over the middle. There he finds Dodson Green. First down, 11 yards on the completion.
And that was the first time that we've seen TC in the pocket, looked calm, cool, and collected. He just stepped up, delivered a strike, and knew right where he was going based on the coverage that he was given.
So a little in route on the seam right between 2 defenders and stuck it in there for Dodson Green. Out to the 32, first down, Columbia.
One-on-one coverage, you get the curl on the backside. You're going to hit that all day against man.
2 wide receivers right, 1 to the left. Line comes in motion to the near side. They overload the right side of the formation. Handoff Olvera, bouncing it outright, and little bit of a late hit. Line wasn't able to get over to make the block that time. In on the stop was Zach Woostig. And Olvera picks up 3 out to the 35-yard line. More importantly, the clock continues to move. He was down inbounds for Columbia. 2 wide receivers left, 1 to the right. 2nd and 7. TC looks left, throws the out route, finds Line on the far sideline, slips a man first down across midfield, and he is thrown out of bounds that time. But he's got a first down and the ball out near midfield. They'll say, where will they spot it down? He crossed midfield into Willamette territory at the 47-yard line.
Knock on wood, but so far we've had a pretty injury-free game. And sometimes you have guys who aren't used to football contact for a few months. Guys play out of shape. They stretch out a little bit more than maybe they normally should, and you have an injury. We've had a very clean game that way. Again, knock on wood for this final quarter.
Dodson Green in motion to the left side. And they will come back to Olvera on the handoff coming right. Stops, stutters, nowhere to go, and tucks his head, moves forward. Hudson in on the stop, as is Max Von Arx.
He did a phenomenal job to hold the edge on that one, force Olvera inside. And now, as I say, there hasn't been an injury.
Van Arx holding his left hip as he kind of...
He wasn't? I don't think he was touched.
I wonder if that was from the previous play because he kind of got in the pile late.
Yeah, I don't think he was touched. He'll be all right. Stretch it out.
Way to go, Jinxie over here.
Sorry, man.
Second down and 9. Fake the handoff to Olvera. Throw it short in the flat, looking for the tight end. And once again, Hayden George, the sophomore from Lebanon, just having a little trouble holding on to those passes. And that one was just a little close quarters. Down at his knees and trying to bring it back into the chest, just couldn't squeeze it. So third down and 9, 8:59 to go. And we'll see how ambitious Coach Pine wants to get here. 3 wide receivers all to the left side of the field. And fake the handoff. Pressure coming, and Fisher's got him in the backfield. Oliver Fisher off the edge. And we've got a flag now down late in the backfield over near the Willamette sideline there on the far side of the field.
I'm just still struggling to adjust looking at a Sherwood helmet that's black. You know, for so many years with, Greg Lawrence as the
crimson,
the head
or the
coach,
white.
Or the white helmet with the big S on the side and the stripes down the middle. It's a different look. Sherwood's got new era.
Well, they got the new high school now. And
fancy.
They throw the ball sometimes now.
True.
They're at the higher level. Things are changing.
As we await the call here, and unsportsmanlike on Willamette, I think we got.
And this, again, just kind of a perfect summation of their day. They've played this drive really well. They've gotten them behind the sticks. They got them to third and really long, and 2 penalties have really opened things up for Team Columbia to keep the ball moving down the field. In the first half, it was offensive hiccups for Willamette that kept them out of the end zone. This time, this drive, this second half, or at least this fourth quarter,
I think that was
too many miscues on D.
Yeah, I think that one was on the sideline. They even things up there, and that is just enough yardage to give Columbia a first down at the Willamette 37-yard line. 8:49 to go. Dodson Green in motion. TC Mano-Maliuna under center. Takes the snap, hands off Olvera. Tries the right tackle, and he falls forward to the 34-yard line, picks up 3. And so Steve Pine looking to run a little clock now. But he got across midfield. He's in 4-down territory. I think if he gets a little closer, might be willing to give the field goal kicker a chance at one. Spencer Fisk got a Hidden Valley.
And again, now you have Zach Wustig from Jefferson leaving the field, dangling his right shoulder. So
no, that's not good.
The curse of Andrew Nemec continues.
All right. Uncool, guys. Come on.
Again off the right side, and Daniel Hudson grabs a hold of an ankle and hauls him down at the 30-yard line. Picks up 4. It'll be third down and 3. Clock running under 8 minutes. 28-9 Columbia with the lead. Olvera now, 14 carries, 95 yards. Approaching the 100-yard mark. And that's just what he did for Lake Oswego all season long. Third and 3, 3 wide receivers to the left. Handoff, Olvera. And that time he was swarmed, nowhere to go. Fisher off the edge. Cody White was in there plugging up the middle. And it's a loss of a half yard, so now 4th down. And we'll see if Coach Pine wants to give his kicker a chance. No, he wants to keep this clock running. as we go under 7 minutes. And we might see TC. He's got Dotson Green one-on-one here on the near side. Looks left, now comes back to the right on the wheel route. Oh, he tried to get Olvera on the wheel route, but the pass was short, nearly intercepted by Albright. And Columbia will turn it over on downs with 6:41 to go.
Albright would have liked to have that one back. It hit him right in the numbers, and he just kind of bobbled it. Should have had a pick there and might have had a real long return had he been able to corral it.
But the drive ate up a good 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's a win.
And so Willamette will have it, but now time is of the essence. They got to get some chunk plays to give themselves a chance.
It was a slightly tougher catch. I thought, first time I saw it, I thought it hit him right in the numbers. It actually, he was behind him. He had to kind of spin around and catch it. That was a little bit tougher catch than I originally thought.
Don't forget to stick with us in the post-game show. We will get all of the outstanding player awards for you, some final thoughts on what we saw here tonight, and a look ahead to the 2022 high school football season here, as Diamond is back at quarterback for Willamette. Also in at tight end is Pete Pennington. Diamond, though, going to go up the left sideline looking for Perez. Great coverage by Timmy Mitchell. He got on top of Perez and did not allow him the space to come back to the ball. And it looks like maybe a little cramping going on out there now, Perez.
Yeah, as Andrew Nemec just puts his head down on the table right now as president. He's fine. He's staying in the game. But that was a great job by Timmy Mitchell. That's one of the things that you want to preach to a corner over and over and over again is the sideline is the 12th defender. If you're a corner, it's your best friend. You see the sideline, you want to push that receiver as far as he'll go towards those white lines in the boundary.
Handoff goes to Pete this time off right tackle. And pushes his way forward to the 35-yard line. It's a pickup of 4, 3rd down and 6, as we're down to 6:20 to play.
Well, we haven't had a weather delay, and it's not going to overtime. There. We'll just get all the jinx out right there. Get it all out. Because I said, no, there haven't been any injuries, and then there were 3 in the span of about 8 plays. So, weather, overtime, I'll at least be 1 for 3 in jinxes, hopefully, barring a catastrophe here.
So
late.
Pete remains the tailback. Hudson is in at a fullback off the right shoulder of Diamond. Takes the snap, hands off on the fullback dive. Hudson moving left, and he is thrown down. Chuck White out of Banks making the stop. Holds him to a gain of 2. It's going to be 4th down and 4. And they got to go for it now with 5.5 minutes to go. Wable and Staley back on as Merlino comes out. Two wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Pete is the lone tailback off the left shoulder of Diamond out of the shotgun. Drop straight back, pressure off the edge. They throw it. This time Perez wide open for a 1st down and gets out of bounds. Mitchell making the stop. But they cleared out the left side of the field for Perez, and he gets them the 1st down out to the 46-yard line. And it does look like Perez maybe got a little cramping issue going on in that right, hamstring calf somewhere down there. It's not a hot day, but it is a little humid.
Yeah. Well, and especially after, not doing any real football activity and then jumping right into a week of double-day practices.
Direct snap, Malik Ross finds the right side, got through the first wave, out across midfield to the 47-yard line of Columbia. So we'll pick up about 7. Clock running with 4:20 to go. 2nd down and 3. They'll go back to the Wildcat. This time they'll hand it off. Poithier, and he's hit by Staley, and then the cavalry comes for Columbia, but Staley was the first one to him right at the line of scrimmage.
Right back to smacking his helmet again. He is an animated guy. I love it. He is fired up. Just a ball of football energy.
Gain of 1, 3rd down and 2 here for Willamette.
Man, he is the throwback cookie-cutter Jesuit linebacker.
He sure is.
That's a guy that you could tell Coach Potter at Jesuit absolutely loves players like him.
Ross on the direct snap, has a convoy out left. He's got a first down to the 40, 37, and goes out of bounds to stop the clock with 3:23.
Now that's the move. If you're Dan Lever, you just bring out all the linemen. Just condense it all down and run student body left and right.
And he's got Spencer Elliott in there as a lead fullback on that Wildcat look.
He just brought 2 linemen in, and how nice it would be for a high school to bring in Spencer Elliott, who goes 6'2", 235, and then Cody White, 6'7", 260. Just sitting on your sideline. You can just bring him in at any time to run a jumbo package.
Diamond back in out of the shotgun on 1st and 10. Rolling to his right. He wants to throw it on the sideline. He's got Perez, makes a move, and then out of bounds near the 20-yard line. They're starting to send guys on multiple go routes, and then Perez was underneath the safety valve. It'll be a 1st down.
Perez had a little bit of an inconsistent day, especially in that first half. It's nice to see him finish his day with a couple of catches and some yards after catch here in this fourth quarter.
Down to the 22, gain of 15. Quick snap. Diamond gets it to Kelly in the left flat. Oh, he tried to cut back and slipped on the turf. Foot gave out, and he was frustrated there. He saw daylight up the middle of the field. Clock running as we go under 3 minutes. 2nd down and 8 after the 2-yard gain on the completion to Emarion Kelly.
Clackamas returns their quarterback, Luke Baker, but they lost their top 2 wide receivers, both of whom are playing at the FCS level, I believe. So there's an opening there at receiver. Part of the reason A.J. Perez transfers from Tigard is to potentially slide into that number 1 receiver role. He is going to have an opportunity to rack up a ton of yardage at Clackamas High School this fall.
6'3", 180 pounds, and he can grow into that frame. Fakes the handoff. We got a flag at the line of scrimmage as Diamond dives forward near the 15, but they'll stop the clock with 2:22 and sort out the penalty. And we'll see if it's a formation or somebody lined up in the neutral zone from the defense. And it is illegal formation or motion. Too many players in the backfield for the offense there for Willamette, so that'll back them up 5 yards back to the 26. 2:22 left to go, 28-9. Columbia with all their points coming in the first half, 3 of them on big plays, 2 of those with Gunnar Yates out of Coquille. And they have just sort of rode the wave here in the second half. As Diamond has Malik Ross off his left shoulder, 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Flag thrown at the snap. Diamond over the middle finds Hale on the drag route. He's down to the 18, but we got another flag, this time right in front of the Willamette sidelines. We didn't have too many penalties in the first half. We've had a boatload of them here in the second half. And it's another formation penalty. Somebody's not getting up on the line of scrimmage. Usually the officials will help guys out.
Well, yeah, you give a point over to the line judge, and he'll tell you forward, backward, usually start up a conversation. It's like a catcher talking to the home plate ump. As a wide receiver, you always want to butter up those line judges because late in the game, when you're a little bit tired, he'll help you out without even pointing. He'll tell you, hey, scoot forward, scoot back, you're too far, cheater. You haven't.
It's back to the 31-yard line after the penalty. They need to get down to the 13. Minute 40 left remaining. 28-9 Columbia. Diamond now takes the snap. Steps up in the pocket. Throws over the middle. It is nearly intercepted. On the coverage that time was Luke Cummings out of Astoria. And with a minute 30 remaining, as the drone floats down out of the stands. There should be all sorts of good video on the Les Schwab Bowl website after this one.
Yeah, it's really cool. Les Schwab Invitational, too. The guys at Primetime Sports do a good job. It's a little less intimidating to see the drone out in a football stadium than in the high school
Yes,
gym of Liberty.
Liberty.
When it starts buzzing the tower and you have no idea what it's doing in there.
So it's 4th down and 19. Last gasp before Willamette. Kelly goes in motion. They fake the handoff. Stepping up, Diamond throws it over the middle. Too tall for Hale. Knocked down by Lonnie Burt Jr., and that will clinch it. Columbia only needs to take a couple of knees, and they will have the first ever victory for Team Columbia in this Les Schwab Bowl history, the new format this year. And but an impressive performance in the first half from Columbia's offense, and an outstanding night, especially from the edge rushers from the Columbia defense. You had some guys in Anderson, in Chuck White, and then the linebacking core, Staley, Wable, Gibson, and then Hayden Hurley in the secondary. All 3 levels, you had guys who were making big plays and big tackles at crucial points.
Well, we highlighted that Team Columbia front 7 before the game as being particularly impressive, and they showed out today.
So Ross now with it. That was 3rd down. 4th down on the swing pass. He's going to be short, knocked out of bounds about the 17-yard line. And that'll do it. The celebration is on for Team Columbia. They take over with 1:16 left to go, leading 28-9.
And Hero Diamond putting together a great second half as the quarterback for the Willamette squad. He's going to finish the day 8 of 13, 101 yards with a touchdown, also an interception, but 43 yards rushing on 8 carries. He was the positive momentum in the running game for this Willamette team. He really did bounce back after there were struggles offensively in the first half for Team Willamette.
And so now it'll be Crew Newman on for victory formation. Just 2 snaps is all they will need with the 40-second play clocks. And they'll still work out. He steps up, takes a knee. And so that will conclude another great week down here at Linfield. And as this game continues to evolve over the years, and they do a great job. We talk about the job that Reggie and John do with Primetime Sports. Steve Pine was one of the instigators of saying, hey, how about we bring in lower classmen? How about we do a draft and change up the feel for it, keeping it fresh for the kids, hopefully entertaining for the parents and the fans that are here as well. And although, as Andrew has indicated throughout the game, although the score really doesn't indicate it, 28-9. Columbia just made the big plays that Willamette couldn't quite come up with. It was just a few plays were the difference.
Yeah, I mean, you take away Gunnar Yates' 2 huge touchdowns of like 50 and 60 yards, one on a swing pass, one on a run up the middle, and this game's a lot closer. And then you remember Team Willamette had 1st and goal at the 2. And went backwards to the 27, and they had another situation where they were at about the 25-yard line and moved backwards. And they had a trick play that was looking like it was going to go to the house, and the guy got tripped up. So they've had opportunities.
And so it is now final. The 2022 Les Schwab Bowl goes to Team Columbia. Your final score, Team Columbia 28. Team Willamette 9. We'll come back with the post-game show, wrap up with final stats as well as all of the MVP winners here for both teams. This is the 2022 Les Schwab Bowl presented by Express Employment Professionals on 1080 The Fan.
How long is post-game?
We got 2 segments.
done, and it was really fun to watch him come put it together.
Yeah, once things got figured out and they started cleaning up the penalties, he really was the most efficient quarterback those last 2 quarters.
So Gunnar Yates, offensive player of the game for Team Columbia, and Yates was the big play for him. 5 carries, 72 yards and a touchdown, the 52-yard touchdown, and then he had the 1 catch for 59 yards and a score.
Averaged 33 yards a touch on 4 touches with 2 touchdowns in that first half. In the second half, I don't think he had a yard. They did a nice job of bottling him up, but, man, he sure put the game out of reach in that first half.
And so who do we got here? We got the MVP award, and it goes to Crew Newman. So he named the George Shaw MVP, the sophomore quarterback, 7 of 10 for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns, 7 carries, 19 yards and a touchdown. And some honorable mention. As Coach Pine raises another championship trophy here from the Les Schwab Bowl.
Do you ever think he gets tired of that?
No.
No, me neither.
No, he never, ever does. And
another one.
So, yeah, I think the one guy I think in here that maybe got left out who deserves some hardware was Richie Anderson. I thought he was in the backfield just blowing up plays, whether he actually got the tackle or whether he just blew up the timing of a play off that Columbia pass rush and that edge. Probably should have a plaque to put on his dresser at some point.
7 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, and I don't even know how many QB pressures or how many times he just hurried a handoff, hurried the mesh point that led to disruption and a shorter gain. He had a phenomenal game. He committed to Colorado State this week. I've been saying for quite a while he could turn the corner this year and end up being a Pac-12 player. I'm not saying Oregon State should go all in to get him necessarily by any stretch, but I would keep an eye on him. And if he starts to kind of turn that corner and this game is the beginning of him being that disruptive force as a senior, maybe he's worth plucking away from the Mountain West and put him on your roster as an edge rusher.
So those are the award winners here. Getting back to the overall stats. For Willamette, they were just 4 of 15 on 3rd down. A lot of that was a lot of 3rd and longs that they were dealing with due to penalties and some of those tackles for loss that were led by Richie Anderson. They did get 2 for 2 in the red zone when they actually got there, the field goal and the touchdown. Columbia just 1 for 1 in the red zone. Because they had all of those big plays. They only had 8 3rd downs. They were 2 for 8 on 3rd down. And you look at individually, we mentioned Diamond there, 9 of 14 with an interception, 114 yards and a touchdown. He was the leading rusher as well for Team Willamette, 8 carries for 43 yards. Malik Ross was held in wraps. I think that was a big key for Columbia. They keyed on Ross, just 8 carries for 30 yards. He did have 3 catches for 20 yards. A.J. Perez, the leading receiver for Team Willamette, 6 catches for 64 yards. And Kellen Hale had 3 catches for 30 yards and the 1 score. For Team Columbia, we mentioned Crew Newman, 7 of 10 with a pick, 140 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. T.C. Manu Maliuna, 3 of 8 for 37 yards. Olvera, the leading rusher, 15 carries, 94 yards for the senior from Lake Oswego. Gunnar Yates, 5 carries, 72 yards and a score. Newman, 7 carries, 19 yards and a score. The leading receivers, Stark, 3 catches, 63 yards and a touchdown. Dodson Green, 3 catches, 28 yards. 2 catches for Keegan Line and the 1 big touchdown catch for Gunnar Yates for Team Columbia. We'll take a break. When we come back, some final thoughts and maybe a quick preview what we are looking forward to, as it seems like the high school football calendar, everything is back to normal, going for a regular season in 2022, and they will get going. Practices start there in early August. Final score, once again, Team Columbia 28, Team Willamette 9. This is the 2022 Les Schwab Bowl presented by Express Employment Professionals on 1080 The Fan. Another great hosting job by Linfield. Thanks to all of the staff up here in the press box helping us get organized. And once again, Reggie and John with Primetime Sports just do a great job with this event. A little bit different feel to the rules and things, but overall, a great presentation. So many different players tonight I thought had a chance to shine. Yeah. We called a lot of names, some more than others, but I think we called a lot of names tonight. Final thoughts, Dusty, start with you. What are you going to take away from this 2022 Les Schwab Bowl?
Man, it is really cool to see the format the way that it is. I'm really excited about the tweaks that they make after year one of how the drafting works. And, you know, although it is a little weird to see, you know, guys that play together tackling each other and making stops against one another.
Malik Ross blocking Richie Anderson on the edge.
It's also very cool to see him down there in opposite uniforms hugging right now. But coming out of this, I think that this group of outgoing seniors, Andrew, you said it in the pregame show that this is a pretty good group that was there, and some of the big star-studded names may be at college and at the their FBS schools, but I think with guys like Gunnar Yates, I think we saw there's some gems that are still in the state, and there's always going to be guys that will surprise you.
Kellen Hale doesn't have a spot yet.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things that will never get old in a game like this is the surprises that we see. I remember Peter Williams being one of those guys who ended up being the George Shaw Award-winning MVP, and he went on to go be the quarterback at MIT and take them to the playoffs for the first time in their school's history as the Beavers, the engineers that they are. You know, we'll see guys like that, and I think Gunnar Yates is going to be along those lines of a great small college quarterback or a small college running back.
The fun thing now with this format is we get a look at some of the juniors and sophomores as well. It's just not all the outgoing seniors. So who do you think maybe set themselves up here and can look to build on this forward into the next year?
Well, I think Gunnar Yates is going to have more opportunities in this next week than he's seen as in his entire recruitment. I can tell you that. I was impressed with Richie Anderson, and I've liked Richie Anderson for a long time. I think he's a really good football player. I think people just wanted to see if he could become an alpha. That Tualatin team was so loaded with so many guys. He was one amongst many with Kellen Hale and Peter Burke and some of those guys. So to see him shine in this game, an all-star game, you go, wait, maybe Pac-12. Crew Newman, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but man, he just plays football at such a high level. Whether or not he's going to end up being a Southern Oregon guy or a Linfield guy that leads them into a deep playoff run, or maybe a Mountain West school, Nevada or a Colorado State or somebody takes a shot at him and sees what he's going to be, I'm excited about that. Timmy Mitchell continues to prove that he's one of the top players in the state. Jace Evelyn, a 2025 kid out of Putnam. He's played at the 5A level. He's a freshman. He just finished his freshman year of high school. So you see him out here and you go, how's he going to stack up? And he didn't stand out, and sometimes as an offensive lineman,
it's hard to do.
You just don't stand out.
Or you stand out for the wrong reason.
That's a good thing. Like, we never went, man, this kid's way, he's in over his head big time. He's at the 5A level at Putnam. He's never seen talent like this. And for him to not stand out in a negative way is a huge deal. He's going to be a really good football player. So there's a lot of guys that really stand out. And then the other one that I do want to pay attention to is Kellen Hale. And he is not going to be the most highly recruited kid. He's not some big time FBS talent, but he was a kid that all through last fall I was like, why does this kid not have some small college opportunities? He's a good football player, and he's good on both sides of the ball. And today he ran a great route at tight end, caught a touchdown pass, showed off those soft hands. He's a kid that I hope some small school based on this kind of goes, man, maybe we throw him in there and see what he can do.
Noah Staley, I think, is another kid like that. He's not a huge guy. All he does is make plays.
And Zach Weibel, by the way, is just
going to Montana State. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's a perfect fit, and he was so good for Lakeridge last fall. And it just every time you looked up his stats, 15 tackles, 19 tackles, 11 tackles. Tonight, 12 tackles. That's just who he is. He just knows. He's Johnny on the spot, making plays at that middle linebacker spot, and I'm excited to see what he can do in the Big Sky.
So the kids now get a few weeks. We go into the moratorium period. They have a few weeks. Maybe they do some camp sort of thing, and then they start to get back to it at the end of July. Looking ahead, at least at the big school level, we saw a lot of guys here, a lot of juniors from Jesuit that are coming back. Central Catholic, obviously, with Crew Newman. He will be a junior quarterback for them. the Three Rivers League just gets deeper and deeper. Who are you looking at? Who are the teams you think are going to be fighting to get back deep into the 6A tournament here in 2022?
Well, even with Riley Williams being gone, you got to love Central Catholic. Crew Newman's a phenomenal player. They've got Timmy Mitchell, who's a great corner. Clearly with Maddox Carpenter and some of those guys, they got a great.
And Maddox was
line.
hurt. He was in this game, but he was hurt. He sprained the MCL, and they didn't want to take any chances with him.
Right, but just in terms of how good they should be this fall, Jesuit's got a great O-line. Often that is enough. They've got Lonnie Burton.
Yeah, we know
Jace
what happens
Burton.
to Jesuit when they have
a good
dominant
O-line,
lines.
They make a run. Clackamas should be pretty solid. They return a lot. It's going to be really interesting.
And John Eagle now goes to West Lynn.
Yeah, and then that's the other big one is West Lynn. It'll be fascinating to see what they can do because you'd think with Chris Miller moving on, inevitably there would be a drop-off. But with Coach Eagle coming in, I don't know if there is one, and that's not to disparage Chris Miller. That's to say Coach Eagle is a legend and is a phenomenal coach, and they're going to hit the ground running. So I'd really watch those 4 programs, but it wouldn't shock me if somebody outside that top 4 made a run. This is a very, very wide-open year, and sometimes those are the most fun years when you get to playoff time.
It should be fun. Dusty, Andrew, thank you guys so much for joining me up here. It's been a blast, and I know everybody's anxious to get on with their 4th of July weekend. Thanks to all of you listening for letting us be part of your holiday weekend. A huge thank you to Mike Lynch back in the studio, dealing with some technical issues, getting us started, and then running a smooth show as he always done. Thanks to Linfield for hosting us, and John and Reggie with Primetime Sports for putting this whole thing together, as well as head coaches Steve Pine and Dan Lever for their cooperation. That'll do it for us. Monday, we will be off. We've got some Major League Baseball for you coming up. Phillies, Cardinals tomorrow, and then Padres and Mariners on the 4th of July. Everybody be safe where your travels are taking you. If you are allowed to have fireworks somewhere, please use them safely, and we will talk to you Tuesday back on The Fan. That'll do it. Final score once again, Team Columbia 28, Team Willamette 9. This has been the 2022 Les Schwab Bowl presented by Express Employment Professionals on 1080 The Fan.